A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
For a wash that's deep clean, sparkling clean, use deep cleaning Oxidol. Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Oxidol's own Ma Perkins. You know, despite all the claims and counterclaims you hear today, your own freshly laundered clothes still speak louder than anything else about the wash day product you use. And when you use deep cleaning Oxidol, what your clothes tell you will give you a pleasant surprise. You see, deep cleaning means Oxidol reaches deep down into the fibers of your clothes and washes out the gray dirt left in by the leading wash day suds, the leading shortcut suds. The women saw an amazing demonstration of this fact. And among these women was Mrs. Paul Zurich of Elmwood, Ohio. Listen to what Mrs. Zurich said.
In this washing demonstration, they used my clean clothes. At least I thought they were clean because I had just washed them with the leading suds, the way you're told to. Then they washed those clothes over again, this time with deep cleaning Oxidol. You should have seen the dirty wash water come out of those clothes I thought were clean. That dirty wash water showed me Oxidol really can get out the gray dirt left in clothes by those leading shortcut suds.
Thanks, Mrs. Zurich. And ladies, here's a suggestion. Next wash day, use deep cleaning Oxidol and demonstrate for yourself how much dirt Oxidol can get out of your clothes. And most important of all, look at the clothes themselves. When you use deep cleaning Oxidol, your clothes look sparkling white and bright. Your clothes feel soft and fluffy. Clothes smell sweet, too. Yes, your clothes look clean, feel clean, smell clean, because they are clean with deep cleaning Oxidol. Yet, Oxidol is really safe. Deep clean clothes stay brighter, new-looking longer. So don't wash clothes with suds that leave dirt in. Get clothes deep clean, sparkling clean with deep cleaning Oxidol. Oxidol is deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Deep cleaning. Ask your dealer for Oxidol today. And now, for Ma Perkins. Well, there's no limit to the cousins' cleverness. Ma made it clear that the cousins must return the money they've taken from Willie and Effie. But then Cousin Sylvester went to work on Effie again, and yesterday we heard how Effie insists on putting a mortgage on the house, rather than give up that no-good mining stock Sylvester's owed. Now, to shuffle, this is just one more proof of Sylvester's wicked cleverness. But Ma and Faye just can't believe that their own cousins are so wicked. What's going to happen? Well, I've seen this thing. Ma's parlor about 7:30 that night. Listen.
Really? You say Eddie don't want to sell the stuff? He'd rather take out a mortgage again on your house?
Yeah, that's it, Ma. Can you imagine? I was explaining to her how we need the money. We gotta live until I can find a job. And she just practically took my head off. She hollered, we can't insult Sylvester. We simply can't...
That part of it ain't important. What's important is what you said when you walked in here, Willie. Now, you just say it again. How Sylvester got hold of Eddie. That's the important part.
Huh? No, Shuffle. The important part is that I'm out of a job. Me and Eddie need cash. We got the bad habit of we like to eat 3 times a day, you know.
Don't you see this is the cousins again? All of us will be just going from one bad thing to another until we get the main thing fixed up. It's the cousins. There's thieves against us.
Just a minute, Chuckle. Not so fast, dear. Let's begin at the beginning.
Well, what's going on here? All of a sudden I heard voices. Hi, Shuffle.
You
Hi, Willie.
Hi,
I
Faye.
didn't hear you come in.
Well, you was in the kitchen when I got here. And say, let's tell Faye how matters stand and let's get her opinion. How much do you know about this, about the events of the day?
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Let's sit down, dear. Willie, dear, you tell
Well,
us.
let's begin at the beginning. Say, you know how Willie here, plus his good wife Eddie, they took their life savings out of the bank, and instead of lighting cigars with their money like ordinary darn fools, they just went and handed the money to dear old cousin Sylvester.
Yes, I know about it, but They didn't give the money to Sylvester, just to Sylvester, Shuffle.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Faye. You make it sound like Sylvester kept the money, Shuffle. He didn't. Sylvester just handled the deal for us. The money went to this mining company out west. This big shot friend of Sylvester's, Mr. Myers. You saw my stock certificate, Shuffle, signed by that fellow himself, M. Myers.
Okay. Good old cousin Sylvester was just helping you out of the goodness of his heart. He didn't keep one dime of your money with. Of course, it might be asked how come Sylvester buys a brand new fancy car 1 minute after all that money changes hands, but maybe Santa Claus made a special trip and brung him the car. But anyhow, the important point is that Willie and Ma went to Sylvester just this morning. You know about that part of it, Faye. Ma and Willie went to Sylvester. Ma asked Sylvester, how come he told so many lies about the money?
I know about that, too, Shuffle. Sylvester said he was only following his friend's instructions. His man Myers said to keep it a secret. We don't have any proof that Sylvester told lies on purpose, Shuffle. And why would he stand to profit by telling lies? Maybe we've been doing Sylvester a great injustice, flying off the handle and accusing him of doing all kinds of things.
Shuffle, from the way you talk, you make it sound like there's some kind of hocus-pocus going on around here, with Sylvester at the bottom of it. Maybe me and Evie wasn't too far-sighted, taking our only ready cash and buying mining stock with it. I realize it makes me look kind of like I don't know my own mind. First I buy it, and then I want to sell it again. But then, on the other hand, the deal looked real good. Those profits look real good. You saw the stock certificate, Shuffle. How could they do monkey business?
What's driving me crazy is how for everything I say there's some kind of an answer. And these answers all protect the cousins. The simple fact is that you're out of the money, Willie Pitt, and Sylvester did tell lies. And Sylvester did get a new car. And now this morning, when you and Ma go to Sylvester and you say you want your money back, what does Sylvester do? He gets a hold of Evie, and he gives her such a song and dance that now Evie comes up with the craziest notion in all the history of the world, putting a mortgage on the house instead of getting the money back from Sylvester P. Hammaker and friends.
What? What's that? Eddie wants to put a mortgage on the house? Oh, it's all so mixed up. Yes, that's what Willie just told us to. You see, Willie still ain't found a job, and, well, Willie says that he needs money to live on. Of course, Willie will find a job. He'll find one any day now, probably tomorrow, but in the meantime, Willie does need cash. Only Evie seems to think that mining stock is too good an investment. He'd rather borrow money on the house rather than sell that stock back again.
Too good an investment. They ain't seen 1 cent in profit. The only thing anybody's ever seen since the beginning of that deal is Sylvester's fancy new car.
Shuffle, you keep mentioning Sylvester's new car. You really believe Sylvester took our money, mine and Evie's, and bought the stock with it? And this Mr. Myers bought him a new car for his commission or something?
Oh, no, maybe not exactly that way. Oh, what's the use? Every time it looks like we got the cousins pinned down, they wiggle out of it. And they're wiggling out of it again. Ma, I turn to you. You're my last hope, Ma. For months now, I've been telling myself how when the time's right, Ma will come down on the cousin like a ton of bricks. But won't the time ever be right, Ma? You're going to let Evie mortgage the house so as to support the cousins with new automobiles?
Shuffle, you stop saying that.
Oh, Shuffle, to you, it's so black and white. And to me, it's so mixed up with...
I know what it's mixed up with, Ma. You're saying it's mixed up with your love for the family, your great, big, wonderful, generous love for the memory of Pa and Pa's family. How even a sparrow don't fall from the nest without Ma Perkins wants to do something about it to help. I agree, Ma. It ain't easy to believe this stuff about your own cousins. But let me put this one question to you. You going to let Evie get away with this new foolishness, mortgaging the house? Or are you going to make the cousins give Willie back his money?
No. As far as that's concerned, Shuffle's right, Ma. You just got the house paid for, Willie. You don't want to put another mortgage on it.
Yeah, that's the way I figure it too, Faye. But, gee, I got to live in that house. I got to live there with Evie. And, oh, boy, it ain't living when Evie's on the warpath.
Oh, Willie. I've been listening while you were speaking your mind, Shuffle. And I guess there ain't no two ways about it. From the standpoint of safe and sound, of course it ain't right to mortgage a house. To keep an investment in some kind of a mine.
Atoms, Ma. They get atoms out of that mine, good ones. Atom energy, atom bombs, that stuff is very important.
Atoms. Excuse me for interrupting, Ma. You were saying?
Yes, somebody ought to talk to Evie. Maybe she's so mad at me for one reason or another, I don't figure she'd listen if I went to talk to her. Somehow I don't think she'd listen to you neither, Shepherd.
Me? Darnation. Whatever Evie feels about you, she feels about me in spades.
I'd talk to her, Ma, but she wouldn't listen to me either.
And, of course, I'm only her husband, so it stands to reason that she never listened to me.
Say, I got an idea for you, Willie, son. I got me a little dog. Do you remember my little dog?
Yeah.
That's what you should have, Willie, son. When the whole human race closes down on a fella, he should have a little dog. No back talk. A dog always does like the fella tells him. And besides, you don't eat as much as a wife. But we're getting away from the subject.
Yes. To who would ever listen?
Oh, to who? The only one Evie listens to these days is Sylvester. Sylvester this, Sylvester that. Why don't I dress like Sylvester? Why don't I talk like Sylvester? Sylvester can do no wrong.
Yes, Billy, that's just what I was going to say. Sylvester. Maybe we all should have another little talk with Sylvester. Explain matters to him. Why Evie and Willie should not mortgage their house. Well, you know, Ma, matter of fact, Sylvester said he'd drop by this evening. Do you want me to talk to him, Ma?
Hey, that might be a very good idea. Get Faye to tell Sylvester how I need my money back.
Yes. Yes, you might speak to Sylvester, Faye. Do you want to, dear?
Sure, let's say try. But you mark my words, folks, it ain't going to work. Get your money back, Willie? Not a chance in the world. You mark my words. The cousins are out for blood. Oh, won't nobody listen to me?
The Jack Benny Program, presented by Lucky Strike. In a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. And
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. First, last, always.
LSMFT.
Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
Friends, it's only common sense that fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette. And season after season, independent tobacco experts, men who spend their lives buying, selling, and handling tobacco, can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco. Fine tobacco that means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
American.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go out to Jack Benny's home in Beverly Hills, where even as you and I, Rochester is filling out his income tax.
Let's see. Name, Rochester Van Jones. Occupation, butler, chauffeur, cook, gardener, valet, masseur, window washer, and author of What to Do in Your Spare Time. Now, let's see. Exemption. If married and your wife or husband had no income, or if this is a joint return of husband and wife, list wife or husband. I better read that again. If married and your wife or husband had no income, or if this is a joint return of husband and wife, list wife or husband. Yep, that's what it says. That's what the form says. Uncle Sam said that. Well, fortunately, I'm single and have no wife or husband. Now, let's see. Enter your total wages.
Oh, hello, Rochester. What are you doing?
I'm filling out my income tax, Mr. Benny. It certainly is complicated.
I'll help you out if you like.
I sure would.
All right, let's see the form. Oh, Rochester, look at all the occupations you listed. You don't work that hard.
Don't I?
No.
I got housemaid's knee clear up to the hip.
What?
And at that point, middle-aged spread takes over.
Rochester, if you want me to help you, pay attention. Now, let's see. Your income. What was your income last year?
I don't want to tell her what my salary is.
Why not?
Boss, you pay it to me, and I'm even ashamed to tell you.
Rochester, you've got to put down your salary.
Can I write it in red ink?
Red ink, why?
I want them to know I'm blushing.
Never mind. Now for the next question. List any extra monies you received as gratuities, gifts, or bonuses from your employer.
Oh, boss, come now.
Well, let's get on to business expenses. How much did you spend last year?
Well, let's see. There was $70 for uniforms,
Uh-huh.
$20 for a lawyer,
Yes.
and $50 for advice in preparing last year's income tax.
I thought I only charged you $40. But you're lucky it was $50. It gives you a bigger deduction, you see. Now we come to dependents. For every close relative you support, you can deduct $400 from your income tax.
Well, let's see. There's my mother.
Rochester, I didn't know you supported your mother.
Oh, yes, that sweet little old lady. I take her a drive every Saturday night.
Your mother? I happen to know that every Saturday night you take my car and go up on Mulholland Drive.
Damn, it's for the million, baby.
Rochester! Now, don't give me that stuff about your mother. Last Saturday night I followed you, and I distinctly heard you mention Lena Horne.
I said, Mother, don't lean on the horn.
Oh, sure. Now, Rochester, after you sign this, all you have to do is... I'll get it.
Hello, Jack.
Well, hello, Mary. I wasn't expecting you. Come on in.
Jack, it was such a beautiful day. I thought we might go for a walk.
Yeah, let's do that. I feel like going out today. In fact, if you hadn't come along, I was going to call up my girlfriend, Gladys Zabisco, and invite her out.
Oh, is Gladys still around?
Certainly. Why?
I thought Louis B. Mayer auctioned her off last week.
Now, Mary, I don't like the way you're always picking on Gladys. She's got a nice figure. Did you ever see her in a bathing suit?
Yes, and she looks like Gary Cooper.
Only from a distance. So what if she is a little thin?
She's homely, too.
Now, wait a minute, Mary. Gladys may not be the most beautiful girl in the world. I mean, I won't even say that she's the most beautiful girl in the United States. Or in Los Angeles. Or in Beverly Hills. Or in... You know, Mary, I think you got something. Well, I'll get my coat and we'll go for a walk.
Okay, Jack, I'll sit here and read this letter I got from Mama.
Well, a letter from your mother, eh? What does the worst years of your father's life have to say?
I'll read it to you.
Go ahead.
My darling daughter Mary, everything is fine at home and the weather is getting to be real nice. We're pretty sure that winter's over now because last month a groundhog came out of his hole, saw the sunshine, and went back in again to wake up Papa.
What?
Papa came out, saw me, and punched the groundhog right in the nose.
Oh, your mother just put that in for a laugh.
Now, where was I? Oh, yes. Even though it's nice now, 2 weeks ago, we had a severe blizzard, and when your Uncle Harry came in from the barn, his milking hand was frozen.
Gee.
I hope it thaws out soon, as I'd like to get the cow out of the house.
Mary, you mean to tell me...
Jack, please.
Oh.
Your sister Babe and I are going to the movies tonight and see a new picture. I heard that the picture's all about Jack and his violin. It's called The Beast with Five Fingers. No other news. Love and kisses from your mother, the shocking Mrs. Livingston.
That's the silliest thing I ever listened to.
Oh, wait a minute. P.S. I think your Uncle Harry is thawing out as I just heard a little squirt in the bucket.
Mary, look, why doesn't your mother write a letter sometimes without... Oh, who can that be?
Hey, Mr. Benny, I came over to ask you if it's all right to...
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello. I came over to ask you if it's all right to...
Hello, Dennis.
Hello.
I came over to ask you if it's all right
How do you feel, kid?
Thanks. I came over to ask you if it's all right
Dennis, what happened to your face? It's all cut up.
I know. When I shaved today, I tried out a new blade.
Gee, the way you're cut up. What kind of a blade was it? Single-edged or double-edged?
Double-edged.
Gee. Well, maybe you didn't have it in the razor right.
Oh, razor!
Well, certainly. You're supposed to put the blade in the razor before you lather up.
Oh, lather!
Dennis, if you don't know how to work a safety razor, why don't you get an electric razor? I mean, that would be easy for you.
Well, I tried an electric razor, but that doesn't work either.
What do you mean it doesn't work? All you have to do is plug it in.
Oh!
Now, cut that! Well, kid. With all the trouble you have, you're better off going to a barber. Anyway, you haven't got a very heavy beard.
I know. I take after my mother.
Now, look, kid. Kid, what did you want to see me about?
Well, I wanted to ask you if it's all right for me to sing You Can't See the Sun When You're Crying on the program next Sunday.
Yeah, I guess it'll be all right. Let's hear your arrangement of it.
Okay.
We'll leave in a minute, Mary. Go ahead, kid.
When you're crying, a tear can hide the brightest sky of blue. You can hear a song when you're
Very good, Dennis. In fact, it's one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. And I thought the way you... Who came in?
Dennis went out.
Well, why didn't you say goodbye or something?
Maybe you're not paying him enough.
Could be. Well, come on, Mary. Let's go for a walk. Wait a minute. Hello?
Hello, Jack. This is Don.
Oh, what is it, Don?
Well, Jack, this quartet situation is pretty serious, and I think...
Don, I don't want to talk about the quartet anymore.
But I just got a special delivery letter.
I don't care if you got a...
It's from the sponsor.
Oh, sponsor. What does he say?
He says, Dear Mr. Wilson, unless Jack Benny has a quartet on his program immediately, next Sunday's show will open as follows. The Lucky Strike program starring Al Pierce.
Al Pierce?
With Tony Romano, Marjorie Main, Spike Jones, Stephen Fetchett, and yours truly, Harry Bonzell.
What?
LS-SOS, LS-SOS.
Don, do you think the sponsor is really serious?
I'll say he's serious. This letter is written on a Lucky Strike tobacco leaf.
Gee, he uses personal stationery. Well, I'll see what I can do about it, Don. Goodbye.
So long, Jack.
Come on, Mary, let's go.
Okay.
You know, Mary, this quartet situation is a lot more serious than I thought.
It certainly is.
Starring Al Pierce. You know, he's pretty good. He only made one mistake.
What was that?
He used to go on the air every week and say, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope, I hope. And what happened? Hope became a star. I wonder what's the best thing. Who's that?
Hey, Jackson, come here a minute.
It's Phil.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Phil. Phil, where'd you get that trailer?
Huh?
That trailer you're pulling. Where'd you get it?
Holy smoke, it's hooked on.
What?
That's my garage.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I better wake up the maid. She lives upstairs.
Don't bother, Phil. She probably likes the ride. What are you doing around here, anyway?
Well, look, Don called me up this morning and told me you were in a lot of trouble with that sponsor about the quartet.
Phil, don't worry about it.
I ain't worried, Jackson. I'm thinking about you.
What?
I'm young and cute. I can get a million jobs.
You don't have to worry about me either. I can go back to pictures.
But, Jack, they talk in them now.
Oh, stop.
Now, look, Jackson, if you don't get a quartet, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, and you know it.
Well, yes, I guess so.
Why don't you go up to a talent agency and audition some singers?
I don't know who to go to.
Well, why don't you try my agent? He's terrific when it comes to picking talent. Look what he did for me.
Huh?
He fixed me up so I'll never have to do another day's work in my life.
No kidding. What did he get you?
Alice?
Phil, you mean to tell me your agent got Alice for you?
Sure, and when we get 10 kids, we have to give them one.
Well, Phil, with all your joking, maybe you got something. I'll go and see your agent about a quartet.
Okay, here's his card.
Thanks, Phil. Thanks a lot.
So long, Jackson. So long, Livy.
Come on, Mary. We'll go and see Phil's agent.
Here we are, Jack. Here's the talent agency.
Yeah, let's go in. Gee, there are a lot of people in here.
Jack, I think that's the agent sitting behind the desk.
I'll find out. Oh, Mister. Mister. Are you the man who handles the talent?
Yes, Nelson is the name. Low Stake Nelson.
Oh, well, this is Miss Livingston, and my name is Jack Benny.
Well, I'd have known you people anywhere. It certainly is an honor that you came here first.
Thank you.
Benny and Livingston.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a note of that. Auditions are Thursday, and don't forget to bring your piano player.
What? Look, I'm not here to audition. I'm trying to replace a quartet on my show.
Oh, yes, I've heard them. I've got a quartet here that can take their place, and nobody will know the difference.
Good.
They're right in the next room, the Steele Brothers.
Steele Brothers. Well, we can change the name.
Oh, no, you can't.
Why not?
Because they're seals.
What?
Yeah, I'll get them for you. Okay, Seals, you're on.
Oh, for heaven's sake, 4 seals.
There used to be 5. I gave my wife a coat for Christmas.
Look, I'm not interested in your wife. You can send those seals back to their cages.
Okay, you can go back. He doesn't want you.
What are they mad about?
You broke up their gin rummy game.
Come on, Mary, let's get out of here.
Okay, but I've got another quartet for only $60.
I don't care if... $60?
Yes.
Sit down, Mary. Let's hear them.
Hey, come on in, fellows.
If they turn out to be gophers, there's going to be trouble.
Look, Jack, he isn't kidding. It's a real quartet.
Yes. Mr. Nelson, what are the names of these 4 boys?
John, Charles, Irving, and Thomas.
What'd you put Irving in there for?
To keep from being sued.
Well, okay, Mr. Nelson, let's hear him.
I want a girl just Mary. Dear old Mary.
Well, how'd you like them, Mr. Benny?
Well, I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? Their voices are beautiful. They sing like larks.
And the fat one looks like a bald eagle.
Mr. Nelson, these fellas may be all right for something, but I got to have a quartet that can do the commercials for my Lucky Strike program.
Oh, they can do that.
They can?
Of course. Listen to this. Go ahead, boys.
I want a girl just like the girl that married Effie Boone.
Effie Boone?
I'm a lucky strike. She's the one that I with her. I'd like to spoon and...
Oh, boys, look, that's not what they want, fellas. Look, Mr. Nelson. No, fellas, that's not it. Look at boys. Not that.
Why'd you stop them? What's wrong?
Well, they're not exactly what I want.
Well, very well. All right, boys, you can go.
Come on, Mary. I'm sorry I bothered you, Mr. Nelson.
Oh, don't go away, Mr. Benny. I'm sure we have something that would... Excuse me. Hello, Nelson Talent Agency. Mr. Nelson left town. What's your complaint? No complaint? This is Nelson speaking. Yes, we have talent for every occasion. For a wedding, you need what? A violinist. You're willing to pay how much? $6? And dinner? I'll look in my book and see. Violinist. No, I'm sorry. We don't have any violinists available.
Oh, Mr. Nelson, don't hang up yet.
Jack!
Quiet, Mary.
Yeah, what is it, Mr. Benny?
Ask them what they're having for dinner.
It's too late now. They hung up.
Oh. Now, Mr. Nelson, I think I'll run along.
Now, wait a minute. You came in here for a quartet, and I'm going to get you.
But I didn't like those four fellas you had on.
All right, so you didn't like them. I have other talent, you know. Hey, girls, come out here.
Girls?
Yes, their names are Maxine, Patty, Laverne, and Irving.
Irving again?
No, Irving Schwartz.
Now, look.
Take a girl.
It's been a long, long time. So very long. It's been a long, long time.
No, girls, no, that's not what I want either, Mr. Nelson. Look, that's not what I want either. Stop, girls. Look, Mr. Nelson. Stop!
Mr. Benny, why did you stop them? They're wonderful.
But they're not what I had in mind. Mary, what do you think?
I like the seals.
Mary.
Would you like to interview them?
Well, all right. Now, girls, are the four of you sisters?
I am. I don't know about the other three.
Well, I have to be very particular about my show. Where did you girls work last?
Oh, our last job was in San Francisco. We worked on the top of the mark.
Well, that's pretty good. How long did you work on the top of the mark?
2 months.
Why did you leave?
We finished painting the roof.
Oh, I see. Well, look, Mr. Nelson, I'm sure I can't find the kind of a quartet I want here, so I think we ought...
Just a moment. The Nelson Talent Agency. What? Oh, yes, just a minute. Fido! Fido, you want it on the phone.
Look, Mary, it's a dog.
Yes, and one of the smartest talking dogs in the country.
A talking dog? I don't believe it.
I'll show you. Here he comes now. Fido, how old are you? Fido, how old are you? Fido, say something. I don't know what to do with him. He's been acting like this ever since he saw Nora Prentice.
Some talking dog.
Fido, if you don't talk when we have dinner tonight, I won't let you bury your bone in my mashed potatoes. Now, come on. How old are you?
I'm 7 years old.
Gee, he can spell, too. Now, Fido, spell cat.
K-A-T.
7 years old, he can't spell cat. What a joke. Now, look, Mr. Nelson, I didn't come here to get any trick vaudeville acts. All I want is a quartet, and you haven't got one that suits me, so I'm going.
Now, just a minute, Mr. Benny. I've got another quartet that is positively sensational. Look, they're Russian.
A Russian quartet?
Yes, I'll call them. Dvorovich, Ivanovich, Stepanovich, Baranovich, come here.
How can you tell which is which?
Mr. Nelson, look, I can't use a Russian quartet.
You haven't heard them yet.
But...
All right, boys.
Boys, I don't want to hear him talk. I want to hear him sing. Boys! Now, Mr. Nelson, I don't want to hear him talk. Let's not waste time. If they're going to sing, let them sing.
Okay, come on, boys. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1 a bit, 2 a bit.
What do they have to do?
Lucky strike me up.
Boy, don't cry. Look, fellas, you don't have to cry. Boys, you don't have to cry, really. You may get the job. That's not what I want. No, that's not what I want. Look, wait a minute. Fellas, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Mr. Nelson, that won't do. Come on, Mary, let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, during the past week, over 1 million young people, as well as adults, have been observing National 4-H Club Week. 4-H clubs are made up of boys and girls who are agreed to learn to do by doing some phase of farming, homemaking, or constructive community activity. I, for one, am happy to salute the fine work of America's 4-H clubs and urge all boys and girls between 12, 10, and 21 to join, and all qualified adults to enroll as leaders in their locality for the continuation of National 4-H clubs. We'll all be back in just a moment, but first, here is my good friend, Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette.
Speaking of fine tobacco, here are the words of a man who really knows tobacco, Mr. Frank A. Brown of Stoneville, North Carolina. An independent tobacco warehouseman for 25 years, he said,
"Season after season, I've seen the makers of Lucky Strike buy good, right tobacco. Tobacco you just can't beat for smoking quality. I've smoked Luckies myself for 29 years.
Year after year, at market after market, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Brown can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Remember,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco.
LSMFT.
No doubt about it. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And this fine Lucky Strike tobacco means real deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Where's Jack?
Well, Mary, he had to leave. He's on Phil Harris's show.
Gee, I didn't know he was going to work on Phil's show.
Yes, I heard them talking in the hall, and Phil offered him some money.
Oh, money. Good night, folks.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
Good health to all from Rexall. It's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
Good evening. This is your Rexall family druggist with a welcome from all 10,000 of us. The 10,000 independent druggists who have chosen to make the word Rexall part of our own store names. We tell you this by the orange and blue Rexall sign on our windows. And we placed that famous symbol there because we carry the 2,000 or more drug products made with the Rexall Drug Company. Like Bismarex, for example. This soothing antacid is one of Rexall's most famous products, and for good reason. In Bismarex, scientifically balanced ingredients work in a continuous relay to bring you prompt and prolonged relief from acid indigestion. Yes, Bismarex is just one more outstanding example of why we family druggists tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show. Written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Roos, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp and his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. Some time ago, Phil was shown a blue mink coat, which was suggested as a Christmas present for Alice. After 2 weeks of indecision, he has finally decided to buy it, and he's brought Frankie down to the fur shop for his expert opinion.
Mr. Harris, will you please make up your mind? You've had this young lady modeling the fur coat for an hour now. She's getting tired of walking back and forth in front of you.
Well, I like the coat, but I've saved my money a long time to get a coat as good as this, and well, I'm not going to buy it until Mr. Remley makes a decision. What do you say, Frankie?
Keep her walking. Haven't made up my mind yet.
But, Frankie, the girl's getting exhausted. Don't be so thoughtless.
Okay, she can rest a while. Come here, honey. Sit on my lap. Now, look, baby, I'm going to give you one more chance. Are you still busy tonight?
Remley, stop leering at her. Now, let's get back to your decision on the mink coat. All I want is your answer.
You ain't getting no answer from me till I get an answer from her. For the last time, honey, you're going to go out with me tonight, or aren't you?
No.
Get up and keep walking.
Mr. Harris, about the coat.
Remley, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Trying to date a strange girl just because she has a pretty face and a smouthy figure. How a man can lower himself to such depths of degradation is completely beyond my ken.
Well, la-di-da. Curly, where'd you get that line?
From the Stella Dallas program. She's on too early and asked me to release it at this more convenient time.
About the coat.
Look, Remley, I want to give you a little tip on women. And listen closely, kid, because this comes from the former leader of Wolfpack number 47. Don't ever force yourself on a dame.
About the coat.
Don't throw yourself at women. Let them throw themselves at you. That's what I used to do. Why, I dated hundreds of gals, and I had no trouble getting them to go out with me. All I did was ask them one simple question, and they'd say yes every time.
What'd you ask them?
Do you want a mink coat?
How did you know, Bud? Oh, you mean do I want this mink coat? For a minute, I thought he was psycho. Frankie, I've made up my mind. I'm going to buy the coat.
Well, thank heavens.
Not so fast. How much you want for this mink-dyed alley cat?
Oh, why, this is a genuine blue mink, and the price is $4,000.
Oh, he must be kidding, Curly. $4,000 for a mink?
Sure. Them little animals are worth a lot of dough. If they weren't, they couldn't afford to run around in mink coats.
That don't seem fair. I get $35 a week, and one of them little... I hate my father.
Why?
He made me be a musician when I could have been a mink.
He could have become a mink?
With Frankie, it's possible. He's done stranger things than that, mister.
Pardon me, gentlemen, but which one of you is the psychiatrist?
What are you talking about, psychiatrist?
One of you must be. Surely they wouldn't let two nuts out alone. I'm sorry, Mr. Harris, but I can't waste any more time for a lousy $4,000 sale.
We told you we'll take the coat, so wrap her up.
Very well, Mitzi. Take off the coat.
Yes.
Not so fast. What do you mean telling her to take it off? Keep it on, Mitzi. We're having you wrapped up.
The law does not go with the coat.
You mean we're spending $4,000 and all we get is an empty coat? Come on, let's get out of here, Curly. This is a clip joint.
Remley, I want the coat empty. I don't think Alice would like a roommate in her mink. All right, wrap the coat up, mister. I'll take it with me.
I don't know if this coat will fit your wife. What size does she wear?
Well, I ain't sure. All I know is she's got a 54 waist.
A 54 waist?
Fat money belt.
What's her waist measurement without the belt?
I wouldn't know. She hasn't had it off in 8 years. Look, mister, I'll go home and I'll get my wife's measurements, and then I'll come back, and then... Oh, gee, but how can I get her measurements without making her suspicious?
I can get them for you, Curly. I'll mark my arm off like a tape measure, put it around your wife's waist, tighten up, and that way I can tell...
Wait. Why do you have to do it with your arm?
So in case I don't get her measurement, it shouldn't be a total loss.
Never mind, Renly, never mind. But I like your idea, but I'm the one that's going to do it. Now, come on, let's get over to the house. Hey, we'll see you later, mister.
Bye, Mitzi.
Mommy, when are you going to make my list out for Santa Claus?
Oh, I'll do it now, Alice. What was it you wanted me to ask for?
I want a pretty dress, new shoes, a washing machine like yours, only a toy one, and a bicycle.
All right, honey. You run along and I'll start your letter to Santa. Let me see now. Things Alice wants for Christmas. Dress, shoes, washing machine, bicycle.
Hello, Alice. The door was open, so I just walked in.
Oh, hello, Willie.
What are you doing?
Writing to Santa Claus.
You're writing to... Oh, my poor sister. I knew if she stayed married to that man long enough, she'd get just as feeble-minded as he is.
I'm writing it for baby Alice. And as soon as I finish this one for Alice, I have to write one for Phil.
Oh, Alice, you're joking. Surely Philip doesn't expect you to write a letter to Santa Claus for him.
He doesn't, huh? Last year I forgot to write Phil's letter, and on Christmas Eve he refused to go to bed until I called Santa long distance.
Alice, you've been married to him for 8 years now. Aren't you finally ready to admit you made a mistake?
No. Phil's boyishness is part of his charm. He may not be the smartest man in the world, but I didn't want a mental giant.
I know. Where is Tiny Tim?
Oh, he's downtown shopping for my Christmas present. You know what, Willie? He's going to surprise me with a $4,000 blue mink coat.
Well, if it's a surprise, how do you know about it?
Somebody is going to suggest it to him.
What makes you so sure?
I know a furrier. I've always wanted a blue mink.
But, Alice, do you think you can wear mink?
What do you mean?
Mommy, Oh, hello, Uncle Willie.
Hello, dear.
Alice, don't interrupt when people are talking. Just what did you mean by that, Willie?
Well, I wondered if you could wear it because you're allergic to certain furs.
Oh, no. The only fur I'm allergic to is lynx.
What does allergic mean, Mommy?
Oh, I'll explain it some other time, honey. I have to start lunch. Your daddy will be home any minute now.
Well, Frankie, I got my arm marked off, but I'm afraid this is going to make Alice suspicious. The last time I came home and put my arm around her, she called the police and made them give me a sobriety test.
Well, gee, Curly, there must be some way you can get her measurements.
Hey, I got it. It just came to me. I know a way to get it, boy. I know a way to get my arm around her, and she'll never catch on. Hey, Alice, I'm home. Hey, watch how smooth this is.
Oh, hello, Phil.
Shall we dance, darling? Oh, how we danced on the night we were wed.
Phil, stop waltzing me around the room. What's the matter with you?
I feel like dancing. Oh, how we danced, we're so tightly embraced. Rim marked us down 24 around the way.
Would you mind repeating that number again?
24 ways.
And now what's with the hip?
Well, hold it, my friend. I need both arms for this.
We got what we need. You can now let her go.
Darling, we love you, star.
Phil, what's going on here?
Second course for length. Oh, how we danced on the night that we met.
Wilson. If you two want to dance, go dance with each other. I have to finish making lunch.
Oh, all right. Hey, Frankie, I didn't get all the measurements. Look, I'm going upstairs and get the size out of one of her other coats. You stay here and warn me if she happens to come up that way.
Yeah, all right. All this fuss to get a fur coat. Oh, well, as long as I have to wait and there's nothing to do, I might as well read their personal mail. What have we here? Well, a threatening letter from the gas company. Oh, look at this bill Alice got from the beauty shop. $400 for 1 month. How can a woman's... Oh, that's Curly's bill. This is kind of dull. I think I'll look at the outgoing mail. Well, I'm glad to see they're buying Christmas seals. Hey, what's this? Things Alice wants for Christmas. She must have left this here as a hint for Curly. Let's see. No fur coat on here. All she wants is a dress, shoes, washing machine, and a bicycle. Alice wants a bicycle? Oh, it must be to reduce her heavy hips. Could it be possible she doesn't want a fur coat? I better tell Curly.
Allergic. Gee, that's a funny word. I wonder what it means.
Hello, baby Alice. You talking to yourself?
Oh, hello, Uncle Frankie. I heard Mommy say she was allergic to fur, and I wonder what it meant.
Oh, it means she's allergic to fur? What kind of fur?
Oh, it sounded something like rinks or pinks or...
You mean mink?
That's it, mink. Well, I better go in and have my lunch. I'll see you later, Uncle Frankie.
How do you like that? Only Curly could be that lucky. Probably one dame in a million that's allergic to mink, he's married to. Saves himself $4,000.
Well, Ramley, hey, I got Alice's size. We're all set
Curly,
now. We got...
Curly, I got wonderful news for you. Your wife is allergic to mink.
What are you talking about? How do you know?
She told baby Alice she can't wear mink.
Oh, Frankie, this is terrible. I've been saving for 8 years to buy her that coat, and now she can't wear it. Same thing. Now I'm stuck with $4,000.
I'll be glad to help pry you loose from it. I know where we can lay our hands on a defunct bank in Brooklyn.
Never mind. Got my heart set on getting her this coat.
Well, Curly, if you feel that way about it, get the coat.
But she's allergic to mink.
So what? She can do the same thing my aunt did. My uncle bought her a mink coat, and she was allergic to it. As soon as she put it on, her nose acted up something awful, started sneezing. She couldn't breathe. It was terrible.
What'd she do?
What any woman would do if she was allergic to mink.
Oh, sent the coat back, huh?
No, she wears it all the time. You should see how beautiful that coat looks on Aunt No-Nose.
Aunt No-Nose? You mean she...
Yep. The furrier paid for the operation.
Silly. I ain't gonna let Alice have any Furrier pays for it, huh? I wonder how she'd look without... No. Gee, this spoils my whole Christmas. Now, what am I going to give her?
Fortunately, you happen to have a friend who doesn't mind his own business. I have here a list that Alice made up of what she wants for Christmas.
You do? Oh, Rem, you dove, you. Hey, let me have it. Let me see it.
Here you are.
Yeah, let's see what it says. Yeah, dress, shoes, washing machine, bicycle. The dress and shoes I can understand, but what in the world does she want with a washing machine?
Well, you know, Alice, she likes to keep busy. Maybe she's going to take in washing.
What's the bicycle for?
So she can deliver the washing after...
Why don't you stop?
Well, it's the truth.
It is not. She wouldn't take that work away from her mother. Besides, Alice has a washing machine, and Hey, I got it. I guess she must mean a dishwashing machine. She's always wanted one. But, gee whiz, it doesn't seem like enough of a present. And besides, it's not a glamorous gift for a girl like Alice.
Hey, you're right, Curly. It ain't enough, and it ain't glamorous. Hey, I got it. Get her a combination. A dishwashing machine and the garbage disposal unit.
That's glamorous? Well, if that's what she wants, I'll get it for her. Now, look, Remley, I want to get all the shopping done today because I'm leaving tonight for Houston, Texas.
Well, what are you going to do there?
Well, I'm going to appear with Jack Benny and Dinah Shore at a big charity football game and show on Saturday afternoon. And all of the proceeds will go to the Damon Runyon Cancer Fund, the National Kids Foundation, and Holly Hall of Houston. So you see, it's important that I get the shopping done today.
Yeah.
Now, I'll go down and order the dress and the shoes, and you go over and order a bicycle and that washing machine combination.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, Alice, we're going now. See you later.
Wait a minute, Phil. I want you to listen to the song I'm going to do on Sunday. Gee, every time I mention my song, he runs out of the house. Professional jealousy. Oh, well, I'll do it for my own amusement. Be goody good, good to me. I'll be goody good, good to you. Give me all your kisses, and I'll give mine to you. Don't go out with anyone else. I'll tell the boys I'm through. Be goody good, good to me. I'll be goody good, good to you.
When others try to date you, resist with all your might. And we'll tear up our little black book and see you every night.
Don't wander in the moonlight with anyone but me. And I won't sit with anyone else beneath the apple tree. Be goody good, good to me. I'll be goody good, good to you. Give me all your kisses, and I'll give mine to you. Don't go out with anyone else. I'll tell the boys I'm through. Be goody good, good to me. I'll be goody good, good to you. Someone else says, cuddle up, dear, but say no can do. Be goody good, good to me. I'll be goody good, good to you.
what's taking Frankie so long to get back to the house. I did my shopping, and Uh-oh, that must be him now.
Hiya, Curly. Well, everything's taken care of. How'd you make out?
Well, I got the dress, I got the shoes, and I got... Remley, what are those 2 crates you have there?
One is the dishwashing machine, and the other is the disposal unit.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't have a combination, so we'll have to put them together ourselves.
Yeah, we're very handy at that sort of thing. Look, Alice is at the market, so I'll tell you what let's do.
What?
Let's get into that kitchen and start installing it right now. Hey, we're doing all right, you know.
Oh, of course. It's a cinch. Now, let me see. We got to connect it up to the water pipe.
Yeah, but I wish we had a little more room under this sink. It's kind of cramped in here. You can't...
Groceries, where is everybody?
Oh, we're down here, Julius.
Down where?
We're under the sink.
Well, that's a logical place for a couple of drips. What are you two sitting under the sink for?
We're under here to help Mrs. Harris. She wanted a dishwashing machine and a garbage disposal unit.
Oh. Which one of yours is which?
We're installing the machines.
You two are going to install... Oh, this I gotta see. You mind if I pull up a chair and watch?
Oh, you want to learn something, huh?
Yeah. This should be an interesting lesson of applied stupidity.
Now, let me tell you something, kid. If you're going to sit here and watch, we want you to be quiet. You understand? Quiet. All right, now, Remy, let's get back to that pipe.
Right.
Now, there are 2 pipes here.
Mm-hmm.
One is for gas, and one is for water. Which is which?
This is the water pipe.
Let's be quiet, kid.
You heard him. Be quiet.
That's right. Quiet. Pianissimo. You. Let it go. Let it go. I wouldn't even attempt that myself. That's as tough as a foreign word.
I know a water pipe when I see one, kid. Right now, look, Curly, while you hook up this pipe, I'll get the 2 units installed in the sink, okay? All right.
Hey, we did it, Frankie. We got the whole thing installed.
Neat job, huh, Julius? All right, Curly. Turn on the water and watch it work.
Okay.
Hey, listen to that water. Look in the dishwasher. You'll see it pouring in.
Francis.
Huh?
It ain't coming into the dishwasher. Look on your side.
That ain't coming into the disposal unit either.
Now look at the stove. It's pouring out of there.
Oh, fine. Now, look, Remley, you must have connected the gas pipe to the sink.
Oh, Curly, I'm not that stupid. I forgot to turn on the water valve to the sink. Now then, I'll connect it and we'll audition it.
Now, wait a minute, Frankie. Are you sure we put this thing together right? Aren't these 2 units supposed to be separate?
No. We got them right.
Oh.
The garbage disposal unit fits right in the middle of the dishwashing machine. That's the way you make a combination of it.
You do?
Sure.
Wonderful. Gee, Frankie, you know everything.
What a perfect friendship. One guy's a moron, the other one's his yes man.
I'm telling you something, kid. You better keep quiet if you want to stand there now. You keep out of this. All right, Remley, now how's it work?
It's very simple. You take all your dirty dishes with the leftovers and put them in the washer, that way. Now you put the knives and forks in, too.
Oh, they'll both go in there, too.
Everything. Now, when you turn it on, gravity holds the dishes to be washed, while centrifugal force throws the refuse into the disposal unit.
Figures.
Only to you guys.
No, it'll work. Now that I got everything in there, all I have to do is turn on the faucet, let it run for a while, open it up, and presto, we have...
Finely ground dirty dishes and sparkling garbage.
Frankie, will you do me a favor? Now stop arguing with that kid and let's get busy. All right, Julius, you're so smart, we're going to show you. I'll just...
Phil, will you come out to the car and help me Well, what are you fellows doing in the kitchen?
Oh, shucks, Alice. Now you came in too soon. Oh, well, as long as you're here, I might as well show it to you. Hey, honey, now you come over here and stand in front of the sink. Oh, I got a surprise for you, baby. Honey, now you just watch while I turn this faucet on.
What's that?
Now just watch. Never mind that duck, honey, duck! Whoa, what's them knives sailing through the air?
Hey, this is fun! What are you doing? He's twisting a wall!
Keep down, Alice, keep down, or you'll get hit with one empty thing.
Yeah, what is this infernal machine?
It's something for you! Merry Christmas, Alice! Yeah, it's your Christmas present, honey. Merry Christmas!
Oh, just what I needed! A set of flying saucers!
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment. But first, here's your Rexall family druggist.
Whenever a customer asks me to recommend a brand of aspirin, I tell them to choose the tablet that's air-conditioned.
Now I've heard everything. Which one is that?
Naturally, it's Rexall aspirin, ma'am.
But why do you call it the air-conditioned tablet?
Well, it's like this. It's the extremely low moisture content of Rexall aspirin that makes it the fastest disintegrating tablet you can buy. And in order to keep it that way through every step of its manufacture, Rexall aspirin is compounded and compressed into tablets in specially sealed, air-conditioned rooms, where the humidity and temperature are kept at ideal levels.
And that's why you say choose the aspirin tablet that's air-conditioned.
Exactly, ma'am. By laboratory test, Rexall aspirin disintegrates faster than any other leading brand tested.
Well, that's good enough for me.
And it's good enough for 10,000 independent family druggists, too. Quality like that is what we're talking about when we tell you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall.
We're a little late, so good night, folks. We're on our way to Houston. We'll see you at Sam Mayfield. Good night, everybody. Good night.
In a recent nationwide survey, American homemakers agreed that one of the most important items in the family medicine cabinet is a reliable all-around mouthwash and gargle. No wonder, then, that millions of American mothers choose Rexall's MI31 to fill that need. Used full strength, Rexall MI31 kills contacted germs in a matter of seconds. And remember, Rexall gives you a full pint of MI31 at the same price you pay for smaller quantities of other leading brands. Ask for it wherever you see the orange and blue Rexall sign on the window. And remember, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Stay tuned for Sam Spade, then Three Great Stars on Theater Guild on NBC.
Speaking of radio, the Jack Benny program.
show was really quite easy to do. I'm talking now from the actor's standpoint. Obviously, the writing was meticulous. Jack honed a lot of that writing. He sat with the writers a great deal. He, if it came down to a rock-bottom decision as to a joke in or out, it would be very often Jack's decision that made that happen. And but for an actor, it was a very simple show to do. You'd go in, we'll say on Saturday, you'd read through once. Just sit down, read the script straight through, get up and leave, and you'd come back in on Sunday. You'd read once around the table, go and read it once on the mic, and that's all until showtime. And it was just that easy to do.
So the whole thing was really right in there with the writing.
Well, it was that, and also that Jack knew his people, and they wrote for those people.
At this moment, folks, I'd like to present Frank Nelson. Let's see, where is he? Mister. Are you Frank Nelson, the actor?
What do you think I'm doing with this script in my hand? Swatting flies?
All right. I just want people to meet you. But you know, Frank, it's funny. Whenever I run into you on the program, you're always so antagonistic toward me.
Yes.
Well, look, Frank... Well, look, Frank, of course, that's... I can't wait for this next one. Look, Frank, that's just on the program. But in real life, do you really hate me?
Ooh, do I?
Thank you, Frank Nelson.
Jack had a great thing that I don't think any other comic in the business had. If you were to pick up a Jack Benny script and read it, you'd say, well, wait a minute, where are Mr. Benny's jokes? Because Jack didn't do jokes. He did looks. He did takes. He fed, really, you, the actor around him. That's the way he conducted his show. The big jokes were in the hands of the people who surrounded him, which was most unusual. And it showed that he had tremendous confidence in himself, because there were a lot of, I could name one, and I won't, but there was one man who was very famous as a comedian, and when you would do the dress rehearsal, if you had a big joke that got a big laugh, when you came back to do the show, you didn't have that joke. He had the joke, and very often he couldn't understand why the joke didn't play on the show like it had in the rehearsal. And the reason was it was built for you and it wasn't built for him, but he never learned that lesson. But Jack, on the other hand, had no such insecurity, and so he gave those jokes to his people. He surrounded himself with characters that people expected to hear also. As soon as he said, oh, mister, people said, oh, boy, here it comes. He's going to get it, you know? And if he said, excuse me, and the fellow said, see? He says, oh, boy, here it comes. Yeah. Now they're going to do that routine. The people were in on it, and I think they enjoyed being in on it.
Now, pardon me, sir. Are you the floor walker? What do you think I am with this carnation? A flower pot? I'm looking for a toy bird on a stick. And when you swing it around your head, it goes, brrr, brrr. You're a little old for that, aren't you, Quiverlip? It's not for me. I'm getting it for a young friend of mine. He loves toy birds. Don't alibi. If you like to swing birds around your head, come out and say so.
I don't like to swing birds. Believe me, it's for a kid I know. Now, will you please direct me to the toy department?
Very well. It's on the 3rd floor.
Thanks. Like fun it is. Never mind, I'll locate it myself. Certainly a fine store to do business with.
You walked in, Sugarfoot. Nobody dragged
you. The writers on the Jack Benny Show were absolutely superb. You know, there were a series of writers, and Eddie Boulogne and...
Sam Perrin. You're going way back.
Yeah, I'm going back to Boulogne and Morrow. Those were the two original when I was first working with him, Bill Morrow and Eddie Boulogne. And then they were followed in by Sam Perrin and Tackaberry and...
Yeah, John Tackaberry, George Balzer, Milt Josephsburg.
And then even after that came Al Gordon and...
Hal Goldman, Al Gordon.
Hal Goldman.
Yeah.
Oh, Doctor.
How do you do?
Look, Doctor,
Hey, don't tell me. You have a toothache.
No. I only want you to...
Just sit down and leave the rest to me.
But, Doctor, all I want is... Doctor, why are you strapping me in the chair?
Well, the last time I pulled a tooth, I yanked too hard and threw the patient out the window.
Oh, my goodness, did his tooth come out?
All of me hit a fire plug.
Now, look, Doctor, I don't need an extraction. All I want you to do is examine my teeth.
Very well, very well. Open your mouth, please. Wider. Wider, so I can look all the way back. Well, I can see everything now.
Doctor, do you have...
Just stop talking. You're biting my ankle. I hope you'll forgive me, but I like to make a complete examination.
Oh, well, are my teeth bad?
No, but you better do something about that appendix.
Appendix?
Now just hold still and I'll complete the examination. Oh, excuse me. Yes?
Oh, Doctor, Don Amici just called, and he wants to know if you can clean his teeth this afternoon.
Oh, does it have to be done this afternoon?
Yes. Tonight he's going to a masquerade, and he wants to go as a lighthouse.
Well, all right. Tell Mr. Amici to come in this afternoon and lay out my dark glasses.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and by the way, nurse, send in my technician. I have to make an X-ray.
Yes, Doctor.
Yeah, now, before my technician comes in, I just want to make one final check. Open your mouth.
Doctor, why are you spinning my pivot tube?
I used to be a disc jockey.
A disc jockey?
And now I'd like to pull this next tooth for Sam, George, Milt, Tack, and all the boys at Hickey's Bar. And happy birthday to Jeanette.
I'll cut that out. Look, I just came here for an examination.
You sent for me, Doctor?
Yes, I have a patient here who requires an X-ray.
Well, very well. You operate the camera, and I'll swing the chair around so you'll get a good picture.
Wait a minute. This X-ray man of yours, does he take good pictures?
Ooh, does he? He's made several dental pictures. Perhaps you've seen them. They played all the neighborhood theaters.
Dental pictures?
Yes. Sorry, wrong molar, Mother wore braces, and that latest one with Jane Wyman, Johnny Bicuspid.
Now, look, Doctor, I haven't got all day. If your man is going to take this X-ray, let him take it.
Well, I'm going to take the picture. He's going to direct it.
What?
Now, tilt your head back, Mr. Benny. And on cue, open your mouth, raise your tongue, press it over toward your right cheek, smile.
Now, wait, what's going on here?
Camera, roll them.
Doctor, don't move. We're trying for an Academy Award.
Look, all I wanted was a simple examination. That's all I
had the picture, Doctor. I'll have it developed in a minute.
Good. Mr. Benny, while we're waiting, just sit back and relax.
Thanks, Doctor.
Now, Doctor?
Yes, now.
She'll be coming round the mountain when he comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when
what is
he
this,
comes.
anyway?
She'll
what's
be
this
coming
for?
round the mountain.
Wait a minute.
Wait
a minute. Wait a minute! Doctor, what is this?
Yeah, our floor show. We can't afford magazines.
Now, make her keep quiet.
Here are the results of the X-ray, Doctor.
Let me see. Oh, yes. A wonderful picture. Too bad he wasn't bleeding. We could have got it in Technicolor.
Doctor, what does it show?
Just a moment. According to this X-ray, you have an abscess.
An abscess?
Yes, it's sort of a pocket.
Gee.
Oh, it's nothing to be alarmed about. Finding a little pocket under a tooth is very common. Although yours is unusual.
Why?
It has money in it.
Look, Doctor, if you think I'm going to stay in this chair...
Now, settle down. It'll only take a minute. Nurse, grab the patient by the hair and hold his head back.
Yes, Doctor.
Well, then grab him by the ear.
Doctor, I only came in here for an examination.
Doctor, I want to have a word with you.
Excuse me, it's my technician. Really? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, then you better help me. Nurse, hand me my forceps.
Forceps.
Novocaine.
Novocaine.
Needle.
Needle.
Swabs.
Swabs.
Burrs.
Burrs.
Straight chisel.
Straight chisel.
Saliva ejector.
Saliva ejector.
Drill.
Drill.
Coat.
Coat.
Hat.
Hat.
Umbrella.
Umbrella.
Doctor!
Doctor, what are you doing?
Our lease is up. We're moving.
What? Come on, nurse. Doctor! Doctor, let me out of this chair. Doctor, now stop.
This is kind of interesting. There's only once I ever turned Jack Benny down. I'd get a call, do Jack's show, and I'd get out of whatever else I had to do and cancel that out and go and do Jack's show because I'd like to do it. Well, one week he called me on a Saturday and wanted me for the next day, and I had 4 shows to do on Sunday. There was no way in the world I could beg off of 4 shows, and I said, well, I'm awful sorry, but I simply can't do it. And what he wanted me to do was a porter on a train coming from Albuquerque. And because I couldn't do it, they went out and hired an actor by the name of Eddie Anderson, who became Rochester. And Jack was so taken with his delivery on the train, he said, gee, we got to find something for him to do on the show. And that's where the character of the valet came into existence. And he ran the household, as you well know. And that's the only time I ever turned Jack down. Now, had I done it, it would have just been a one-shot, and that'd been it. But because Eddie had this very distinctive delivery, and Jack said, hey, that's great. We just got to find something for it.
Viola, you appeared on the Jack Benny shows as well. In what kind of role?
Oh. Well, you know, Frank, as he has said, has been put into this one particular career, you know, the one part. And with me, it was the same thing.
Actress Viola Vaughn.
I began doing a lot of other things, but I went into femme fatale, Slinky, and even though we did it in a studio and nobody was they were listening to it and there were only about 300 people watching it, I would dress for it all the time, and I would go from far stage, timing myself, wiggle, slink, to get right up to the mic and say, what is it, Jack? Or whatever the line was. So all of that was the way I was typed, too. You know, but it was a wonderful way of doing everything. You could do accents with it. You could still...
You know, Chuck, there's a funny thing, though, that they did. Now, Viola is, what is the term, well-endowed. And that's one of the reasons she was called for the shows, you know, and so she dressed it. So help me, they would... One show they came out and they said, oh, no, you can't. You must put Tool in.
Yeah.
And so help me, God, this is for a studio audience. And you've got thousands, hundreds of thousands of people on the air listening, and you've got 300 people in the studio, and they would do that. They also did a thing, which is in Milt Joseph's book. They did the shooting of Dan McGrew. And because of Viola, and she was the lady that's known as Lou... And so they changed the line of the shooting of Dan McGrew. Instead of clutched to the breast, it was clutched in the arms of the lady that's known as Lou. Now, that's how far censorship went in those days.
That was family entertainment back in those days.
Yeah.
But, Viola, it's interesting that you say that you dressed appropriately and you kind of slinked out on the stage. Now, I'm sure that you did this not only for the studio audience, but just for the whole... characterization that you were trying to do.
That was my idea, though, to dress, because I'd been a dancer, and I thought I should not just walk out in a pants or a suit or a dress or anything. It had to be really something that would stop everybody when I appeared, and it worked beautifully.
Back of the bar in the solo game sat dangerous Dan McGrew, washing his luck with his light of love, the lady that's known as Lou. But out of the night, which was 50 below, and into the din and glare, there stumbled a miner fresh from the creeks, dog dirty, loaded for bear.
Okay, bartender. I struck it rich. Set up drinks for everybody.
Does that include me, handsome?
Sure does, Lou. I came right back here after finding the gold just to see you.
Well, the minute I heard you was coming, I hurried home and got into this new dress.
You must have been in a hurry. You didn't get all the way into it. But, Lou, I got presents for you now that I'm rich. I've got diamonds and ermine fur, jewels, and a yacht for you.
Oh, darling. Come here, honey. Kiss me.
After that kiss, I won't need my dogs or my sled anymore.
Why not?
There ain't no more snow between here and the North Pole.
Announcer Don Wilson.
When I blew it. I recall one instance where I was waxing very erudite on the air and introducing Jack. I'm talking about this particular situation, which I don't recall at the moment. And when I got through, Jack said, "My goodness, Don, I didn't know you knew all that. Where did you learn it?" And I said, "I read it in Dreer Poussin's column." Well, that created a whole new ball of wax. The crazy boo-boos that you make.
And that was not part of the script. That was
that just came out inadvertently.
That was an on-the-air happening. It was not written in the script.
Writer George Balzer.
And Don was giving Jack his introduction. And there was a lead that came out, says, where did you see that? And it was supposed to say, I read it in Drew Pearson's column. Instead, he said just the opposite, Dreer Poussin's. And Jack said, wait a minute, Don, what did you say? And he repeated properly. He says, no, you didn't. And Jack told him what he said. So as the show went on, there was a spot where I guess Frank Nelson was a doorman, and Jack arrived and so forth.
I don't think Jack never wanted you to ad-lib anything.
No.
Put any kind of not that it would hurt the comedic value, but they didn't want any extraneous stuff in there. It was written that way, it was honed for the week, and it was done that way, or you wouldn't be there.
You know, I told you the Dreer Poussin story, which is, I've repeated a number of times, and I'm not going into it again now, but that's the only time I ever ad-libbed with Jack. And that was at instructions of the writers, otherwise I wouldn't have done it.
Well, you better say it now. You better tell us again, because...
you mean I got to do this story?
Do the Dreer Poussin.
Sit back and listen.
It takes a little time. What happened? I had a line. He says, oh, Mr. Yes. He said, are you the doorman? And my answer was, well, who do you think I am in this uniform, Nelson Eddy? And he didn't like the Nelson Eddy. He said, I don't like the Nelson Eddy joke. We got to get a new joke for Frank. He said, we'll change that before show. Well, we get the show, and they have not changed it. Now, early on in the show, Don Wilson has a line about Drew Pearson, the columnist, you know. Only it doesn't come out that way. He says Dreer Poussin. Well, the audience came unglued, you know. There's a huge laugh. Jack laughed.
The Jack Benny Program. Starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, and yours truly, Don Wilson. Ladies and gentlemen, 1949 is gone and forgotten. But to Jack Benny, 1950 will always be remembered. Because 1950 is what he paid for his new suit. And here he is, Jack Benny.
Thank you. Hello again. This is Jack Benny talking. And, Don, I want to ask you something. How did you know that I bought a new suit?
I heard it on Dreer Poussin.
Wait a minute, I want to hear this. You heard it on what?
I heard it on Drew Pearson's broadcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, he got the award for being the best announcer in the show. That gives you a rough idea. Dr. Gallup must have given it to you. Now, wait a minute, Don. Drew Pearson is a commentator who specializes in national affairs. Why would he mention that I bought a suit for $19.50?
Because Wall Street feels that it indicates a definite trend toward a bull market.
Yeah, I can't understand understand it. A man goes out and buys a plain herringbone suit, and it shakes the economic system of the nation. I need wool socks, too, but who knows what it'll do to England.
I look into the booth, and the writers are motioning for me to come into the booth. And I got up and went into the booth, and I said, what do you want? They said, when you get to the line, just say, who do you think I am in this uniform, Dreer Poos? And I said, oh, come on, fellas, that doesn't track at all. They said, trust us. I said, you don't ad-lib with Jack. He said, just do it. We'll take responsibility. We have instructed you to do it. Now, we get to the thing, and I always had my back turned away from Jack, and I would whirl into the mic on the yes, and he says, oh, mister. And I said, yes. And he said, are you the doorman? And I see this dull look come into his eyes of, oh, my God, here comes that line. And I said, well, who do you think I am in this uniform? Greer Poosin? Well, his eyes got like two saucers. He grabbed a hold of the microphone. He slid down the microphone. He pounded on the floor. He got up. He staggered all the way across the studio to the far wall. He hammered on the wall. He turned his back on the audience into the drapes, got a hold of the drapes, and he slid down the drapes, pounding on the floor some more. Finally got up, came back to the microphone, and the laugh is going all this time. Now, you've always heard that the biggest laugh that ever happened was your money or your life. I'm thinking. I really think this was a longer laugh. But it was not a planned laugh, you know. But it just turned into an absolute unbelievable thing.
All right, men, get out the squad car. There's been a murder at Romanoff's. And I'll find out who killed Carlton Quince, or my name ain't... Okay, men, this is Romanoff's restaurant. That man in that red uniform and gold braid must be the doorman. I'll ask him. Pardon me, are you the doorman?
Well, who do you think I am, Greer Poosin?
And let me in.
You can't get in here unless you have a reservation.
A reservation? Well...
If you say anything about being an Indian, I'll punch you right in the nose.
I was trying to switch it. Now, look, there's been a murder committed in here. I'm Captain O'Benny, so stand aside while I... Doorman, what are you staring at?
Ooh, a new suit.
How did you know?
I heard it on the frost warning.
For weeks after that, I would run into writers on other shows, and they'd say, that whole thing was planned, wasn't it? I'd say, no, and let me tell you how it happened. And I would tell the story as I've just told it to you. There wasn't a writer in town that would believe the story that I told. But that's exactly what happened.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce one of the most versatile actors in radio, Mel Blanc. As you may or may not know, Mel plays several parts on my program. For instance, when I come downstairs in the morning and walk into my den, Mel looks at me and says, oh, hello, Polly.
Hello.
And many times, the Polly had to listen to me take my violin lesson. But Polly never complained because she knew my French violin teacher was also Mel Blanc.
No, Monsieur Benny. How many times must I tell you it is not... Oh, what's the use? Monsieur Benny, my money, please.
Then every once in a while on my travels, I have to take a train. And at the railroad station, again, you hear Mel Blanc.
Train leaving on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Coop.
Then sometimes I decide... Then sometimes I decide not to take the train and go by automobile. And when I get in my car and step on the starter, does the motor start? No. Again, it's Mel Blanc.
Train leaving leaving on track 5 for Anaheim, Azusa, and Cucamonga. Those are actually the names of towns.
And they were made famous by Mel Blanc on the Jack Benny Show. Well, now what about the Maxwell? How did that start? How did that wasn't the voice, that was the sound. How did that come about?
Well, you know, it was at a rehearsal. It's actually a true story, and I saw that the turntable that actually plays these sounds wasn't plugged into the electrical socket. And I know Jack likes to have his show the way it's going to be on the air. So I didn't have time to tell the sound man to plug the thing in, so when it came to that spot, I did it verbally or orally, and it sounded like this.
Okay, start the car.
Okay.
Maybe we got a little water in the gasoline.
I'd tell if we had a little gasoline in the water.
Never mind. Try the motor again, will you?
Yes, sir.
The motor sounds as though it's going from bad to worse.
Sounds like it's going from here to eternity.
Rochester, don't be funny. Try it once more.
Okay.
The motor's not even catching. Maybe the battery's dead.
Can't be that, Mr. Benny. I put a new battery in yesterday.
A new battery? How much did it cost?
Nothing. I got it out of your flashlight.
Try it once more. There you are, Rochester. The motor's going. Back the car out of the garage.
Wait till that crowd gets out of the way.
All right, folks, break it up. Break it up. Beat it, beat it. Why do they always gather when we try to start the car? You can go, Rochester. They've gone now.
I started working with Jack in 1940.
In 40?
Yeah, he had heard me in the cartoons. I started there in 37, but he heard me do these voices in the cartoons. So he called me one day and asked me if I could do the growl for Carmichael the bear. This is maybe before your time. And he had a bear that was down the cellar. And finally get away with a gas man. But he said, can you do the growl of a bear? I said, sure. He said, great. And he used that for about 6 months.
Hey, Mary, get a load of that sign on the front door.
Where? Why, Jack Benny, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
What for?
Look at that sign. See the polar bear, 15 cents.
Well, I'll be darned. Rochester must have put that up. I was wondering how he bought that new suit. Darn it, the door's locked and I forgot my key. Ring the bell, Kenny.
I can't go in. I didn't bring any money with me.
Never mind. Ring the bell.
Okay.
We ain't open today, folks. The bear's sick.
Rochester, open that door.
Oh, it's you, boss. Hello, Miss Livingston. Hello, Mr. Baker. I ain't seen you in some time.
Forget the formalities. How's Carmichael? Did you put him in bed like I told you to?
Yes, boss, but I had a little trouble getting your pajamas on him.
Pajamas? Rochester, if those are my new silk ones, I'm going to take $10 out of your salary this week.
What do you mean out? That's it.
Well, I haven't got time to argue. Tell me, how's Carmichael?
His cold seems to be getting worse. He sneezes all the time.
Well, that's awful. Did you take his temperature?
I sure did, boss.
What does the thermometer say?
Easterly winds with probable rain.
You used the barometer. I'm going in and look at him.
Can we see him, Jack?
Yes, but you'll have to be quiet. Now, follow me.
I wonder if we should have brought flowers.
That isn't necessary. Here's the room. Shh. Now, be quiet. Oh, look at Carmichael sleeping there, peaceful as a lamb. Gee, isn't he cute? Look at that smile on his face. Huh?
Yeah, I wonder what he's dreaming of.
Some other bear, no doubt.
Quiet, you'll disturb him. You see? You woke him up. Gee, look at him. He's got such a bad cold, I think I'll pull the covers up around him.
Be careful, boss. He's kind of ornery.
Well, naturally, he's sick. Look at him. Has Carmichael got a bad cold? Gesundheit. Ooh, Carmichael, watch it.
Shall I get your umbrella, boss?
No, Rochester, you should have given him a spoonful of this cough syrup every hour. Here, open his mouth and give it to him now.
Boss, I wouldn't open his mouth if my best friend was in there.
Oh, give me that spoon. I'll give him the medicine myself.
Look out for your hand, Jack.
Don't listen to Rochester. He's just a coward.
That's me, a coward with brains.
Well, I'll show you there's nothing to be afraid of. Now, here, Carmichael, be a good little bearsy-wearsy and open whose mouth. Come on now, take this cough syrup for Daddy. Now, come on, Carmichael. Daddy is getting impatient. Take this cough medicine. Carmichael, I'll shove it right in your mouth. Carmichael!
Open up them golden gates.
Carmichael, take this medicine.
Jack, look out!
Hey, look out, Jack. He's coming for you.
Carmichael, get back in bed.
Come on, Faye, let's get out of here.
Carmichael! Rochester, get out of my way.
Out of your way, I'll be Pomona now.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, boss, can I get a doctor?
Doctor, nothing. Get Frank Buck.
That's all I did was a growl of the bear. Finally, I said to him, you know, Mr. Benny, I can also speak. Well, he fell on the floor and pounded it, as he usually does. And he said, good, I'll have the writers write something in for you. And that's when I started with him, doing the voices for him.
And which was, you remember, which was the first voice, aside from the Carmichael the Bear?
I think one of the first voices was as a salesman around Christmas time, where he keeps changing the package. You know, he buys a belt maybe, and he says, no, that says I want some initials put on it. And I'd have to unwrap the package and wrap it again.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's right. In the old radio days, we used to go down 2 or 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. And we'd do a show from Palm Springs that related to Palm Springs or the trip to Palm Springs. But it all had something to do with Palm Springs.
The most memorable ones for Jack Benny radio fans is a show he would do first or second week in December from Palm Springs, and it was the Christmas shopping show.
Oh, yeah.
And Jack would go in the department store, and he'd be trying to buy gifts for all the members of the cast, but the whole thing revolved around a gift for Don Wilson.
Shoelaces.
Shoelaces?
The generous man.
Oh, say, Mary, there's one thing I still have to get.
What's that?
A present for Don Wilson. I can get it right over here at this counter. Oh, clerk.
Yes, sir?
I was thinking of getting...
Say, your face looks familiar. Didn't I wait on you last year?
Yes, I believe you did. I was thinking of getting...
Now I remember. You bought a pair of shoelaces, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Now, I was thinking of getting...
You couldn't make up your mind whether to get plastic tips or metal tips.
That's right.
Jack, let's get out of here.
Wait, Mary, I have to buy Don's present. Mister, do you happen to have...
I remember how you kept coming back. First you get plastic tips, then you change to metal tips. Plastic tips, metal tips.
It was a hard decision to make, you see. Now, mister, I'd like to
Metal tips, plastic tips, metal tips.
Jack, get out quick.
Wait a minute.
And you came back again, and again, and again, and again.
Mister.
All the other clerks went home, but I had to stay.
Look, mister.
You're not going to do it to me this year. Plastic tips, metal tips, plastic tips, metal tips. Get out of here. Get out of here.
But, mister.
Plastic tips, metal
gentlemen, the Colgate Palmolive Peak Company, makers of Colgate Dental Cream, take this opportunity to wish you a Merry Christmas. And now, Colgate Dental Cream presents the Dennis Day Show, written by Frank Galen, with Sharon Douglas, Dick Trout, Paula Winslow, Charles Dant and the orchestra, yours truly, Vern Smith, and starring our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Here's Dennis to sing A Gal in Calico.
Met a gal in Calico way down in Santa Fe. I used to be her Sunday beau till I rode away. Do I want her? Do I want her love? Yes, sirree. Will I win her? Will I win her love? Wait and see. Working with the rodeo, go from town to town, see most every kind of gal, every kind of gown. But who made my heart sing? Yippee-I, yippee-oh, my little gal in Calico. Quit the rodeo, gonna settle down, buy a boat, a calico, for a wedding gown. Then will I fence her in? Yippee-I, yippee-oh, my little gal in Calico.
Most of you know our young hero, Dennis, very well by this time, but those of you who will be making his acquaintance for the first time on these Wednesday nights would probably like to know just what sort of person he is. Well, let's ask the folks who know him best. First, there's his landlady, Mrs. Anderson, who runs the boarding house in Weaverville where Dennis rooms. Mrs. Anderson, what's your honest opinion of Dennis Day?
My opinion of Dennis Day is that he's a 22-year-old boy.
Well, yes, of course, but what sort of 22-year-old boy?
Well, I'm sorry, but that's as far as I'd care to go on.
Well, it's a fact that Dennis has never managed to get into Mrs. Anderson's good graces. Now, Mr. Anderson, on the other hand, kind of likes him, although he's never come right out and admitted it. And just why haven't you, Mr. Anderson?
Well, it all goes back to when I first married my dear wife. Or, as I like to call her, the big woman.
Go on, Mr. Anderson.
You see, when we were married, we made a pact, Poopsie and I. We decided we'd always think and act as one person. Of course, I didn't know then that the one person would turn out to be Poopsie.
Oh, I see. Well, there's one member of the Anderson family who likes Dennis and makes no bones about it. That's their daughter, Mildred, our young hero's girlfriend. Right now, on this fine Christmas morning, she's carefully planted herself under the mistletoe in the Anderson living room as Dennis comes down for breakfast.
Morning, Mildred. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Dennis.
Boy, I sure am hungry this morning. See you after breakfast, huh?
Why, Dennis, wait.
What's the matter?
Well, don't you notice? I'm standing someplace.
Well, that happens very often when you're not sitting down.
I don't mean that silly. Now, look around carefully. Don't you see anything different?
You're wearing a new dress?
No, higher.
You washed your face?
Dennis, what's over my head?
Hair.
I mean on the chandelier. Don't you see what's tied to it? A piece of mistletoe.
Oh, I see now. Pretty, isn't it?
Oh. Dennis, I'm standing right under it.
Well, don't worry. A little thing like that couldn't hurt you if it did fall off.
Didn't you ever hear of mistletoe, Dennis? If a man happens to find a girl standing under it, he can kiss her.
Gosh, really?
Yes. And you happen to find me standing under it. Well.
Oh, I couldn't take advantage of an accident.
But it wasn't an accident. accident, Dennis. I stood here on purpose.
Mildred.
I did it so you'd kiss me. I want you to kiss me.
You women are all alike. No one wants my brains, only my kisses.
Dennis, I want you.
I know how desirable I am, but you should fight it.
I'm tired of arguing about it. Come here, Dennis Day.
Please, Mildred, you're mussing my hair.
I don't care. Now stand still.
Well, so that's the sort of thing that goes on in my house.
Mother.
Hello, Mrs. Anderson. What's new?
Don't put on any act with me. I saw you kissing my daughter. Give me one reason why I should walk in and find such a thing going on.
We didn't expect you.
Well, it was all my fault, Mother. Really, it was. You see, it's Christmas, and there was mistletoe, and I was standing under it, and... Well, anyway, it was only a little peck on the cheek.
That's true, Mrs. Anderson, and I promise it won't happen again until we've been married for years.
Married, indeed. Young man, you've been nothing but trouble to me since you began boarding here. I suggest that you look for another place to live as soon as you can.
But, Mrs. Anderson...
That's my last word on the subject.
Gee, now I'm in a fine mess.
Golly, I'm sorry, Dennis. You wouldn't have gotten in trouble if only I hadn't insisted on kissing you.
Oh, that's all right. As a matter of fact, I kind of like being kissed.
Oh, did you, Dennis?
Yeah. I see now why so many people speak so well of it.
Oh, gee, I hope Mother doesn't really make you move.
No, it wouldn't be much of a Christmas if she did.
Oh, dear, I nearly forgot with so many things going on.
What?
There's a little present for you inside, underneath the tree. For me.
Gosh, thanks, Mildred. I hope you won't be too disappointed, but I didn't have enough money to buy you an expensive present this year.
Oh, well, that's all right, Dennis. I'll be every bit as happy with a present that costs practically nothing.
I didn't have enough to buy you one of those either.
Oh, well, don't feel badly. I understand.
Next year I'll be able to give you something real nice to make up for it after my invention is put on the market.
Your invention?
Yeah, I haven't told you because I wanted it to be a surprise. You see, one day last week, Mrs. Courtney came into the drugstore to get something for a terrible headache. So I made up a wet pack out of some stuff I found, and she put it on her head.
And it cured her headache?
No, it made her headache worse, but it curled her hair.
Oh, my goodness.
I haven't told a soul yet, but I think I've invented a permanent wave solution. It should be worth millions.
I should say so. Have you tried it on anyone besides Mrs. Courtney?
No, but Mr. Willoughby's police dog sat in some the other day.
And what happened?
Well, the part that barks is still police dog, but the part that wags is pure French poodle.
Oh, goodness, that's marvelous.
I'm improving it all the time. Why, just yesterday I put some powder from France I found in the place.
Oh, golly, I've just had the most wonderful idea.
What?
My mother's got to know about this. Why, when she sees what you've got hold of, she'll never let you move out.
Oh, she won't believe it's any good if I invented it.
Oh, but that's just it. She's got to try some herself.
But how are we going to get her to do that?
Oh, look, she's in the next room. You go in and hint in a subtle way that she doesn't look quite as attractive for Christmas as she might. Her hair looks a little stringy. And then you show her your invention and ask her to try some on her head.
Golly, I'll do it. I've got a jar of it right here in my pocket.
Good. Oh, but you've got to be very diplomatic about telling her she could look more attractive.
Here goes. Mrs. Anderson?
Yes?
You know, I was just thinking, you're pretty ugly today. I don't mean all over, just above your neck.
How dare you talk to me like that?
Mrs. Anderson, wait, you don't understand. What I meant is you're beautiful, only your hair kind of spoils it.
My hair?
Yeah, it's so straight. Why, if you had curly hair, you could look just like Lana Turner all over instead of just locally.
Oh, that's very sweet of you, Dennis. Oh, but my hair's always been straight. Even a permanent doesn't curl it.
Well, I have some stuff right here that will, Mrs. Anderson. If you'll just put some on your head in 2 or 3 minutes, you'll be amazed.
Well, if it's as good as all that, I certainly will try it.
That's swell. Come out and show Mildred. Well, Oh, good morning, Mr. Anderson.
Good morning, Dennis. My lover girl in there?
Yes, but don't go in, Mr. Anderson. You're going to get a surprise in a minute.
I am?
Yeah. How would you like it if your wife suddenly became Lana Turner?
Outside of Lana Turner suddenly becoming my wife, I can't think of anything nicer.
Well, you just wait.
You really think it'll work, Danny?
Oh, sure. And with that French powder I put in yesterday to make it smell nice, she'll just love it.
Well, what kind of French powder was it?
Oh, I don't know. Only the name of the maker was on the box. Some fellow named Plaster of Paris.
Plaster of Paris? Oh, Dennis, no.
I did something?
Did something? Oh, we're finished forever.
Mildred, what do you mean?
Yes, what are you two talking about?
Well, how do I look? Well, my head feels awfully peculiar.
Really, Mother?
Yes. How do you like it, Herbert?
Oh, very nice, Poopsie. That's the first sensible hat I've ever seen you wear.
Hat? I'm not wearing a hat.
You mean that's you?
Well, certainly. This is my new hairdo.
Don't you think you overdoed it?
What do you mean? Get out of the way so I can see myself in the mirror. Why, I don't... Ah! Dennis! My hair! It's ruined! Listen to it.
Well, there's nothing to worry about, Mrs. Anderson. I'll have your head in fine shape as soon as I get hold of a hammer.
Oh, a hammer?
Yeah, that's the only way I can get that shiny white crust off your head.
Fine thing. It was supposed to be Lana Turner and me. Now it's the egg and I.
Oh, here, use this, Dennis. The fire tongs.
Okay. Hold still, Mrs. Anderson.
Oh.
There, see?
Dennis Day, I told you once today to leave this house as soon as you can. Well, I can't wait. You're leaving this instant.
Mrs. Anderson, I was only trying to help.
Get out of my sight. That's final. Come, Herbert.
Gee, didn't turn out to be a very Merry Christmas, did it, Mildred?
No, I'm afraid not. Oh, but don't worry, Dennis. We'll find some way to see each other.
Gee, I hope so.
Oh, was Dennis listening?
Yeah, a bunch of kids singing carols. It'd be kind of nice to have them in, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. Open the door, Dennis. Let's have them in.
Okay. Hey, fellas, come on in. Mrs. Anderson may have something for you.
Okay, come on, guys.
You better shake the snow off your shoes. Mrs. Anderson is very particular about her rugs.
Come on in, boys. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Hey, what about that little fellow out there in the snow? Isn't he coming in?
Nah, he don't sing with us. He just follows us around. Yeah, everywhere we go, he tags along. We can't get rid of him.
He's a pest.
Hey, fella, why don't you come up here on the porch? You'll catch cold out there. Come on up. Don't be afraid. What's your name?
Cecil.
Oh, your name is Cecil, huh?
Yes, sir. Cecil.
Well, come on up, Cecil.
Yes, sir.
See, you are catching cold.
I'm not cold.
You're not crying, are you?
Yes, sir.
You are? But this is Christmas. You shouldn't be crying on Christmas.
Yes, sir.
What are you crying about, Cecil?
They won't let me sing with them.
They won't let you sing with them? Why not?
I've got braces on my teeth. They say I don't sing good.
Well, I don't believe it. I'll just bet that you're a real good singer.
No, I'm not. I don't really sing good.
You don't?
No, sir, I don't sing good, but I like to sing anyway. I like to sing more than anything in the whole world.
Sure you do. And that's what makes singing really important. To want to sing from the bottom of your heart, whether you can really sing or not.
It is?
It certainly is. You know, once upon a time there was a little boy just like you. Well, this little boy wanted to sing more than anything else in the whole world.
Honest?
Uh-huh. And one night he had a vision. And the vision told him never to stop singing, because someday he would sing for the king.
What's a vision?
A vision? Oh, a vision is something like a dream, I think. Well, this little boy...
What was his name?
His name? Oh, I don't know what his name was. You see, it was a very long time ago.
How long ago?
Oh, a long, long time ago.
Did he sing over the radio?
No, this was long before radios and phonographs and moving pictures.
Before Just Benny?
Yes, even before that. It was a long, long time ago, in a land far, far away. The little boy came from a very poor family. Though his father and mother worked hard, they could barely buy enough bread to eat. The boy had no shoes to wear, and his clothes were ragged and torn. But he didn't care, for he was happy. He had a song in his heart. Life is fair on a summer's day.
Sweet the western wind is blowing. La 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 la. One day his father called the boy to his side and said, "Why is it, my son, that you always sing? We are poor and have little for you to sing and be happy about." And the boy answered, "I am happy, Father, for someday I know I shall sing for the king." And his father said, "That foolish vision of yours, you must forget such nonsense, for a poor ragged boy like you will never sing for the king." And the boy said, "Told me so. It was so clear to me, Father. A voice spoke to me and said that I had been chosen to sing for the king." The boy's father was sorely troubled. He shook his head sadly and sighed. "My son, you must put such idle dreams out of your head, for tomorrow you shall start to work for the rich landowner who lives on the hill." "Gladly, Father, and I shall sing as I work, for someday my song will be heard by the king." The boy's father returned to his work, knowing that his words could not shake his son's faith in his vision, his tattered clothes flapping in the breeze, and his shoeless feet kicking up the dust. The dust rose and danced with the sunbeams, leaving a happy trail behind the boy as he sang. Life is fair on a summer's day, sweet the western wind is blowing. La, 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 la. And so the boy went to work for the rich landowner. He tended to the flocks of sheep and to the goats. At dusk, when the boy would drive the flocks home from the meadows, the hooves of the animals would make a gentle sound on the road. And with this as music, the boy would sing. Life is fair on a summer's day, sweet the western wind is blowing. La, 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 la. One day, not long after, the landowner called the boy to him and said, "Hearken to me, boy. I pay you to care for my flocks, not to fill the air with your incessant song." "I'm sorry, master. I meant to bother no one with my singing. The sheep and the goats don't mind." "I am neither a sheep or a goat, so I mind." "You see, master, I must sing, for someday my song will be heard by the king." "Ah, you're mad, boy. Yea, mad and also stupid. Sing for the king. Be gone with you. Be gone with you." "But, master, I shall sing for the king. You will see." And so it came to pass that the boy, laughed at and ridiculed by all who knew him, left and went to the great city to sing for the king. Never had the boy seen such a city. Great buildings lined the streets, and the greatest of all was the palace of the king. There were many steps that led up to the palace gates, and the gates themselves were as tall as a tree. He felt very small and afraid as he ascended the steps. He would have run away, but he kept thinking of his vision. With this to give him strength, he was no longer afraid. He climbed, and finally, tired and out of breath, he reached the uppermost step. Smoothing down his ragged garments, he approached the gates. And hesitantly, he knocked upon them. He waited breathlessly as the gates slowly opened.
Who knocks at the palace of the king?
The boy looked up at the tall guard and said, I did.
Ragged beggar, what is it you want?
I am not a beggar.
Speak up! What is it you want?
I have come because of a vision. I have come to sing for the king.
You? Sing for the king? You, a ragged beggar boy, have come to sing for the king!
The guard laughed and laughed. Other guards came, and they too joined in the laughter. They laughed even more when the boy told them of his vision. Then, tiring of their laughter, they picked the boy up and cast him down the many steps to the street below. And slammed the gates shut. The boy picked himself up out of the dirt at the bottom of the steps, and sadly, with his head bent, he walked away from the palace. That night, weary from his journey,
and unable to travel further, the boy stopped to rest by the side of a hill. Sheep were grazing nearby, and as he fell asleep, the boy knew that he would never sing again. He was awakened that night by a strange light, a light that transformed everything about him, a light from a great star that shone above. There wasn't a sound. All was hushed. A hush, a quiet, a silence beyond words to describe. Even the sheep on the hillside and the doves in the trees seemed to sense the silence. And then the light seemed to become even brighter, bathing all in a glow that made them one. The boy, the hill, the earth, the grass, the animals all became one, and one alone. The boy raised himself from the ground, not daring to breathe. Then he felt a song swelling in his throat. He could contain himself no longer. Something was compelling him to sing. He stood up straight and small on the hill. What if they had laughed at him? What if his song was unwanted? He felt he must sing now, here now in this divine night. So he stood, his tattered clothes shimmering in the light of the star above, were like the raiment of angels. And he sang. Ave Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena, Maria, gratia plena. Ave, Ave Dominus, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, boy saw a man coming up the hill toward him. The man was a shepherd, and he carried a crooked staff. The boy said, "I thought I was alone here on the hill." And the shepherd said, "You will never be alone again, boy. No man will ever be alone again." And then the shepherd turned and pointed down the hill. And the boy looked and saw a small stable nestled below. And the shepherd, turning to the boy, said, "Tonight, my son, you sang for a king. Verily, the King of Kings." And so you see, Cecil, if your heart is full of song, you must sing. Oh, I didn't know you folks were listening.
It was a lovely story, Dennis.
It was beautiful, Dennis.
Yes, it was.
Yes, it was a very nice story.
And I'm sorry I got so angry with you. I hope you forgive me, Dennis.
Oh, sure. That's all right, Mrs. Anderson.
Cecil, would you like to sing with us?
Can I? Oh, gosh, I'd love to sing with you. I'd love to sing with you. Will you let me, honest? Will you let me sing with you?
Sure. How about we all sing together?
Colgate-Palmolive Peat Company, makers of Colgate Dental Cream, hope you've enjoyed a very pleasant Christmas. And sends to every one of you best wishes for the new year. Dennis Day can be heard with Jack Benny every Sunday. And be sure and be with us again next week for another Dennis Day program. More songs, more adventures in the life of our star, Dennis Day. Christmas story, The Boy Who Sang for the King, was written by Frank Tashlin. Bobby Driscoll, who played the part of Cecil, appeared through the courtesy of Walt Disney and can be seen in the Technicolor picture Song of the South. All the other parts in the Christmas story were played by Dennis, of course. The special musical background was by Charles Dance. This is Vern Smith speaking.
The National Broadcasting Company.
Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous, presents The Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Good evening, this is Ronald Coleman.
Benita Coleman.
Inviting you to join us again on the campus of Ivy College as the guests of our sponsors, the brewers of Schlitz beer.
The taste of Schlitz, the taste so many people prefer, has made Schlitz beer first in sales in the USA. If you like good beer, do as millions of people are doing all over the nation. Ask for Schlitz, the most popular beer in history. And now, the Halls of Ivy. again to Ivy College, that is, in the town of Ivy, USA. It's the postprandial period at number 1 faculty row, postprandial being a euphemism for, let's let the dinner dishes go for a while. And Dr. William Todhunter Hall, Ivy's president, sinks happily into his big leather chair for a little after-dinner conversation with his wife, Victoria, who is almost too beautiful to be as intelligent as she is. As Dr. Hall says...
that was a splendid dinner, Vicky, and you should... Oh, why are you gazing at me with that air of concern? I had an easy day, and, except for some slight difficulty in keeping my eyes open, my health is excellent.
Then why didn't you sleep well last night?
Well, to use the Yankee technique of answering a question with a question, how did you know I didn't sleep well?
No, I heard you get up and look at the clock 2 or 3 times and toss around some more and then go to the kitchen for something.
Milk. I'm sorry if I disturbed you, darling. Why didn't you let me know you were awake? A glass of milk is a pallid substitute for your stimulating conversation.
Well, thank you. But I was afraid I'd wake you even upper.
Even upper?
Waking you more upper. Incidentally, now, what is there about a glass of milk that it's the first thing you think of when you can't sleep?
That's an interesting thought. I suppose it's a subconscious effort to achieve the calm, imperturbable placidity of the cow. It's a belief held by almost all primitive races that we partake of the qualities of the things we eat. A pot roast of puma for courage. Monkey stew for agility. Rib of rhinoceros for strength, and so on. So I presume it's the nudge of racial memory which sends us seeking tranquility in the juice of the Jersey. It is possible that we... what is it, Vicky?
Yeah, I thought I heard a siren.
Oh, but this being Hell Week on the campus, the sounds of sirens, shots, and the low moans of fraternity pledges are to be expected.
Then what did keep you awake last night?
I really don't know. I might have been restless because my blankets kept slipping off. Or my blankets may have kept slipping off because I was restless. However, it just might have been that lamb curry we had at Professor Quincannon's.
Did you try counting sheep?
No, dear. After so much curried lamb, the idea was unfair. No, I finally got to sleep with the Indians.
Well, Indians as in Bombay or Indians as in Wyoming?
No, they're the American Indians, dear. I found myself trying to think of Indian tribes alphabetically. Apaches, Arapahoes, Algonquins, Blackfeet, Beavers, Bannocks, Chippewas, Crows, Cherokees, Delawares, Dakotas, Eskimos Labrador, Eskimos Mackenzie, Eskimos Greenland, Flathead...
No, I think you cheated using 3 kinds of Eskimos.
Oh, no, dear. They are as distinct from one another as the Wyandots and the Shawnees.
Oh.
However...
Question.
Yes?
How did you come out with T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z?
Tucucumcaris, Umatillas, Varmins, Winnebagos, Yakimos, and Zunis.
It's fantastic. But at the same time, I'm a little bit suspicious about the varmints.
Well, that's ethnological license. Generic term used by fur trappers.
Oh. Well, you left out X.
Yes, the X. That's the one that kept me tossing till the break of dawn. And the answer was so obvious that I...
what varmint could that be, coming to our little wigwam at this time of the night? Big Chief, no shut-eye.
Me, go look.
Oh, hello, Dr. Hall.
Chief Bentley.
Sorry to bother you so late, but can I have a minute?
Sure, come in. Victoria, you've met Mr. Bentley, Ivy's chief of police.
Yes, good evening, Miss Hall.
Hello there. Sit down, Chief.
Oh, thank you, Miss Hall. I can't stay long. I've got to go back to City Hall and pretend I'm not cheating the taxpayers. They expect me to put in a 14-hour day, and I prefer a 6-hour day, so I compromise on 10. With 2 hours for lunch and a nap in the office, I come out all right. Doc, I've got a problem.
Well, good for you. This is the first time he's opened his eyes wide all evening.
Well, one of your students is in the hospital, Doc.
Oh?
Fraternity pledge named Lacey. Steve Lacey?
Lacey. Victoria, you...
No, I don't think I know him, Toddy. Is it an accident?
Well, yes, Miss Hall, if you can call being in a state of shock from hazing an accident.
How badly is he hurt, Chief?
Well, not at all physically. You see, some of your bird-brained students were giving him the works and told him they were going to brand him with a red-hot iron. Naturally, they just blindfolded him and used a chunk of ice on his back.
But that's horrible.
Well, standard formula, Miss Hall. But it seems Lacey'd been in a bad fire when he was a kid, and his mind just wasn't conditioned for this kind of a gag. Result, shock.
I'm shocked, too.
Well, you probably come out of it all right, but I thought you ought to know.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Superficially, it seems like a harmless prank, but if some boy with a weak heart...
A boy would never admit to having a bad heart. He'd just say nothing and suffer whatever they gave him.
Yes, you're quite right, Vicky. The real danger in hazing lies in its unthinking application to the fit and the unfit. The indignities heaped upon a freshman student are designed to teach him humility towards his theoretical betters and to remove any cocksureness he may have acquired as a high school basketball star. But in individual cases, hazing can be not only cruel, but actually dangerous.
Well, you know the police department's policy on student shenanigans, Doc. We sort of look the other way. If it's just exuberance and the kids pay for any damage. But when somebody gets in real trouble, we get to ask some embarrassing questions. So I thought I'd toss it into your lap.
I hope Steve Lacey doesn't have to pay his own hospital expenses. That would be really adding insult to injury.
No, the young intellectuals who put him in there chipping in for it, Miss Hall. He's got the biggest room in the hospital, the prettiest nurse, and the best doctor.
Yeah, that's all very thoughtful, but it's a little late.
Late indeed. Not only for the boy himself, but if he suffers some permanent mental damage from this idiocy, the feeling of guilt among the participants will, or should, last them all their lives.
At least they seem to be trying to make up for their mistake.
Oh, they're pretty decent kids, really, Miss Hall, but hazing's been going on since the second caveman started school to learn tiger skinning. First caveman probably worked him over with a stone hatchet. These boys expect to get it their first year and dish it out for the next 3. It's tradition.
I know. What was bad enough for Grandpa is good enough for them.
Well, I'm afraid the longevity of the tradition doesn't mitigate its dangers. Murder is also a matter of some antiquity, but is never qualified as an acceptable social custom. Chief, thank you for coming over.
You're welcome, Doc. I know you have your own mountains to make molehills out of, but this seemed to be in your department. By the way.
Yes?
You want the names of the hazers? I don't like to rattle the cup on anybody, but it's no particular secret.
Oh, you needn't tell me, but I'd appreciate it if you'd ask the leader to call on me. Tonight, if possible.
All right. You'll be at the hospital. I'm going right back there anyway. As long as you're going to talk to him. His name is Larry Rogers. Aren't I the old tattletale?
But, Chief, will you call us in the hospital and tell us how the Lacey boy is doing?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Well, good night, Doc.
Good night.
And, look, if you can get rid of hazing in this brain factory of yours, you'll earn the gratitude of the entire Ivy police force. We got enough troubles without fishing fraternity pledges out of the reservoir every year.
Yes, I'll do what I can, Chief. And if you should detect the odor of brimstone in the near future, don't be alarmed for your personal salvation. It'll just be me working like the devil against Hell Week.
From week to week.
Yes.
Return to the halls of Ivy. Mrs. Hall is on the telephone getting a report on the student victim of a hazing episode.
Yes, Larry. That's an official opinion, isn't it? I mean, it's not just your own diagnosis. Well, I'm glad to hear it, and thank you very much for calling. What? Oh, well, yes. In that case, come in sometime tomorrow. Yes, I'll tell him. Goodbye, Larry.
Larry?
Larry Rogers, one of the hazing group who put Steve Lacey in the hospital. He was phoning from there.
Well, I gather that Lacey is improving.
Yes, they say he'll be all right now.
Yeah, rather glib assurance. A psychic scar of such depth that it can throw a healthy young man into shock is not to be erased by a few sedatives, an alcohol rub, and a night in the hospital. But as I am neither a psychiatrist nor a physician, I shall devote my attention to the cause, not the cure.
You mean hazing?
I do mean hazing.
Larry Rogers seemed terribly contrite about the whole incident.
Oh, he probably is. He has my complete sympathy. He's a more or less innocent victim of a barbarous tribal custom which I shall do my best to eliminate.
Oh, there'll be shrieks of protest from the fraternity groups and from the alumni who've lived through their own hazings and claim that it builds character.
Oh, I know. But I don't happen to care for character building which depends on cruelty and hazards to mind and body. This college has been fortunate to date in that it has had no fatalities, not even any serious incidents, resulting from Hell Week.
Well, let's hope you can get rid of Hell Week before something really tragic happens. What do you think you can do about it? Make an appeal to reason or official demand for reform? An ultimatum?
Oh, my darling, one of the first executive lessons I ever learned was never issue an ultimatum. Human behavior being so variable and life so full of detours, an irrevocable attitude is equivalent to locking oneself in a burning barn. No, I always leave a door at least slightly open, through which to back out of as gracefully as possible. Door through which to back out of. What a construction.
Yes. Now make it the front door, and then you can see where you're going.
Any opening will do which permits the passage of shoulders, hips, and a conciliatory frame of mind. But I think I shall address the student body tomorrow morning. If I can convince the fraternities, they can spread the gospel. As Shakespeare said, 'tis a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. And in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen of Ivy, I feel sure that you will be as eager as I am to eliminate the evils which I have pointed out, and which are attendant upon the perpetuation of an intrinsically immature tradition. The conversion of Hell Week, with its primitive indignities, into Help Week, as so successfully carried out by such institutions as Purdue University and others, will prove that the student body of Ivy College has put away its toys and that we have taken a grown-up attitude toward our fellows and to education itself. Now, may I ask for a show of hands from those who are favorable to this suggestion? Well, thank you. Thank you. The approval appears to be unanimous, and I am happy that Hell Week on this campus is now history. Major hazing is ended. And I think we all realize that we will better prepare ourselves for the future by paddling our own canoes instead of each other's behinds.
I accuse you of being a psychologist. There was no accident that you got the students together while the Steve Lacey business was the hot topic of conversation.
Well, if you're suggesting that I purposely channeled their apprehension into constructive action, you're quite right. By the way, wasn't young Rogers supposed to see me today?
Yeah, about 3. It's 2:45. 2:40.
Splendid. Well, that gives me a chance to open the piano and limber up a bit on some Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. Proving that I have other bees in my bonnet besides the elimination of sacred student traditions.
You may have bees in your bonnet, darling, but some of your ideas are honey. I never known you to do anything which wasn't for the good of Ivy.
Ivy's been very good to me. Oh, it may not have the great grey eminence of your Oxford and Cambridge, but...
Oh, Toddy, do you remember when we were there? That beautiful afternoon when the sun was trying desperately to shine for the American visitor.
Yes, I doubt if anyone who ever saw those towers and spires could ever forget them. And, of course, to see them for the first time with lovely Victoria Cromwell was to make the memory memorable indeed.
Well,
how do you defend this dictatorial attitude? How, Dr. Hall?
suggestion to the students that we convert Hell Week into Help Week, I'd like
That's
to...
That's exactly what I am referring to, exactly. By what authority do you, by what right? Look, hazing and Hell Week... pardon the expression, Mrs. Hall.
You mean Hell Week?
Yes.
Well, I didn't even notice, but go ahead.
Thank you. As I was saying, Dr. Hall, to interfere so high-handedly, to take it upon yourself a personal whim to change...
Mr. Wellman.
Hazing is a mere matter of high spirits, Dr. Hall, undergraduate exuberance. We can't make panty waste of our students overnight to eliminate what has been the tradition
Mr. Wellman.
What is it?
The panty waist may be a symbol of timidity, but it is at least a civilized garment, and as such preferable to a hospital gown, which was designed by someone with no sense of human dignity.
I don't quite see.
I sometimes think that the hospital gown, the most slovenly, ill-fitting, humiliating habiliment known to patient humanity...
You do mean patient.
I do.
Yeah.
But I sometimes think that this crude and successful attempt to degrade the suffering inmates of what should be a place of mercy and compassion is a deliberate effort on the part of the medical profession to break the spirit and render the victim helpless to protest his other indignities. How can an ambulatory patient, tottering up a hospital corridor, with neck strings flying, knees protruding, and spine exposed, retain a shred of self-respect?
Dr. Hall.
Hospital gown. Being made in only two sizes, too large and too small, can hardly be expected to... Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Wellman. You were saying...
I was saying that you had no right, no authority to take such an arbitrary action in eliminating a tradition as old as hazing. Well, Dr. Hall?
Yesterday, as a result of Hell Week, we narrowly escaped a serious consequence. By an uncomfortably narrow margin, what might have been a national scandal and a personal tragedy became a mere incident. It was too close, Mr. Wellman.
Were you ever hazed, Mr. Wellman?
Yes, I was, Mrs. Hall. Most certainly. At a terrible time. Almost killed me. One night they tied me up and threw me into it. But that's beside the point. Yes, I was hazed, and I'm proud I bore up under it without acting like a crybaby.
It's the smart babies who cry, Mr. Wellman. They try to tell us when something should be changed.
I mean when it's sacred traditions, when they are changed. When a one-man crusade can overthrow the hallowed customs, and I don't care if it is the president who...
Mr. Wellman...
Yes, Dr. Hall.
No one, I think, will deny that your contributions and your help to Ivy College have been tremendously valuable. As chairman of the Board of Governors, you have been a conscientious guardian of its customs and traditions.
Thank you.
But, as president of Ivy, and considering myself personally responsible for not only the health and well-being of the student body, but also of guiding its energies into useful channels, I could no longer tolerate an activity so fraught with danger to mind and body. If you wish to question my decision before the Board of Governors, please do so. I have always found them at least as intelligent as the students.
Well, thank you. But that doesn't explain...
do you understand about Help Week, Mr. Wellman? H-E-L-P, that is.
Yes, some kind of falderall about painting fences, cleaning up vacant lots, for which we have ample. I mean, if the town of Ivy and Ivy College can't maintain its own... If we are out to destroy the fraternity system, why don't we just...
Excuse me, Mr. Wellman, but we have taken no step which would hurt the fraternity system. Oh, it has its evils, perhaps, and is often subject to criticism on grounds of being undemocratic. But in converting its more juvenile and sadistic energies to constructive ends, we are taking much of the sting out of such criticism and emphasizing the real values of group effort. Furthermore...
That's Larry Rogers,
Oh,
William.
yes, I suppose.
Larry Rogers, that's another thing. He's the son of a fine Ivy alumnus, been very generous with endowments. if we are to embarrass this young man by making him the focal point, the focal point of this attack...
Excuse me, Mr. Wellman. Come in, Larry. It's nice to see you.
Hello, Mrs. Hall.
Dr. Hall. Hello, Rogers. You know Mr. Wellman, chairman of the board
Not
of governors.
necessary. Dr. Hall know the boy well. Hello, Rogers.
Hello, Mr. Wellman.
I was just telling Dr. Hall, Rogers, that I felt it necessary to protest his action in eliminating the fine old tradition of Hell Week.
Are you kidding?
What?
I mean, are you serious, Mr. Wellman?
Of course I'm serious.
I take it you think Dr. Hall was right, Larry.
Mrs. Hall, it was the smartest thing that's been done around here since they put in electric lights. Believe me, when Steve Lacey went to the hospital, we got the scare of our lives. There were bull sessions all over the campus last night. You know we were acting like grade school kids, and when we realized what might have happened to Steve, and to us, too, well, Dr. Hall took the load off our minds. We all agreed we'd feel better about fixing up a church roof than autographing some guy's plaster cast. Dr. Hall.
Yes?
I came to apologize for being a leatherhead and to tell you I just entered another school.
Another school, Larry?
Leaving Ivy?
My goodness, Rogers, when your father hears you've been forced out of Ivy simply because...
I wasn't forced out of Ivy, Mr. Wellman. I've been dishing it out, so now I'm going to try taking it. I'm going into a school where they really have Hell Week. United States Marine Corps.
Well, I guess there's nothing much I can say. I seem to have been wrong. Again.
The only people who never do anything wrong, Mr. Wellman, are the people who never do anything. It's not a very original observation, but it's comforting.
And I apologize for bypassing the Board of Governors, Mr. Wellman, but in my judgment, a quick and direct move was necessary, while the incident was still fresh in everyone's mind. I think in eliminating hazing, Ivy has taken a long step toward turning out not only men and women, but ladies and gentlemen. In the words of Cardinal Newman, it is almost the definition of a gentleman to say he is one who never inflicts pain.
Yes, and in the words of Clarence Wellman, gentlemen should always make as graceful an exit as possible. Good night, Mrs. Hall.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Wellman.
Toddy.
Yes, my love?
Let's go back a bit. Back to the Indians.
The Indians. Oh, yes, certainly. Apaches, Arapahoes, Algonquins.
No. I mean the one that kept you awake. Indians starting with X.
Oh, yes. The X. Well, that was Potawatomi who ran away and joined the Seminoles.
Oh, you mean he was an...
Yes, darling, he was an ex-Potawatomi.
Starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman has been presented by Schlitz, the beer that made Milwaukee famous. The taste of Schlitz, the taste so many people prefer, has made Schlitz beer first in sales in the USA. Why don't you, too, enjoy the most popular beer in history? Next time, every time, ask for Schlitz beer. And now, here again are Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
And from our sponsor, the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and its thousands of friendly dealers throughout the nation. Good night. Good night. We'll be seeing you next week at this same time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. Mr. Wellman is played by Herbert Butterfield. Chief Bentley is John McIntyre, and Larry Rogers was Lee Millar. Tonight's script was written by Gene O'Brien and Don Quinn. Music was composed and conducted by Henry Russell. The Halls of Ivy was created by Don Quinn, directed by Milton Merlin, and presented by the Joseph Schlitz Brewing Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who invite you to enjoy on television the Schlitz Playhouse of Stars with Helen Hayes, Margaret Sullivan, Ronald Reagan, and more of the brightest names of Hollywood and Broadway. See your newspaper for time and channel. Ken Carpenter speaking.
Oh, we love the halls of ivy that surround us here today, and we will not forget though we be far, far away to the hallowed halls of ivy. Every voice will bid farewell and shimmer off in twilight like the old bells.
The preceding was transcribed. Coming up next.
And here's the Fred Allen Show, presented by the makers of Tenderleaf Tea and Shepherd Cheese. As the sun mounts higher, the glasses get taller on the American table. It's iced tea time. Time to enjoy iced Tenderleaf tea this year more than ever. You not only get finer tea, richer flavor, but you get it in Tenderleaf brand tea at the same low pre-war price. That's good news, cause for celebration, because you'll be drinking more tea now. And all through the hot weather, you can economize, cool off the thrifty way. The best part of it is that this low price applies to the tea that Ice made famous. It's famous for flavored Tenderleaf tea, exactly what iced tea calls for. The more flavor you have to start with, the more pleasure you'll find in your glass. So get Tenderleaf tea. It's more than a match for the melting ice. All through the month of June, grocers are featuring Tenderleaf tea. When you see those displays, stock up. Ask your grocer for Tenderleaf brand tea. It's still the same low pre-war price.
Mr. Allen! Mr. Allen!
It isn't Jinx and Tex, kiddies.
The makers of Tenderleaf Tea and Shepherd Cheese present the Fred Allen Show with Fred's guests Ozzie and Harriet, Portland Hopper, Minerva Pius, Peter Donald, Parker Fenley, the DeMarco Sisters, Al Goodman, his orchestra, and my name is Kenny Delmar. Ladies and gentlemen, to celebrate Father's Day, we bring you a man who, for the next half hour, will make things pop. And here he is, Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Kenny, I heard that, your opening remark there. Rather a dank get-off, I must say. I heard you say Father's Day, and here is a man who will make things pop. Tell me, frankly, where did you get that gag?
Well, a friend of mine used to be an epitaph writer, and last week he became a gag writer.
Oh, he wrote that Father's Day will make things pop show?
Yes, Fred.
Kenny, your friend is still an epitaph writer. I have seen jokes die, but this one was too quick for me, brother. As you open, that's the sponsor, don't mind. As you trying to set the trend, you know. About that joke dying, Kenny, as you opened your mouth, I looked in. That joke was on your tongue, lying in state. Well, after this, old boy, the gags will be told by
Mr. Allen.
Well, Portland. Portland, you just missed it. Kenny started the program with an hilarious joke about Father's Day.
Animals don't respect their fathers on Father's Day.
Oh, really? How do you know?
I saw a little puppy today.
Yeah?
And he was licking his paw.
Licking his paw on Father's Day. Well, tell me, where did you get that lackluster rejoinder? Wait, let the few literate people. Where did you get that lackluster monstrosity, I might say?
Fred McKinney's used to be an epitaph writer.
Enough. I heard about the party. He'd better send some pallbearers around and carry his two gags off the premises. Tell me, Portland, what's new this week?
Well, Mama took me to see Roy Rogers' circus. It's wonderful.
Oh, really?
Thunderhead,
Slicker and Smokey are appearing in person.
3 horses, eh?
Oh, they had to have 3.
Well, why?
Everybody knows New York is not a one-horse town.
Well, New York only has 1 mayor. Yes, you see, that epitaph writer wrote that in when no one was talking. Tell me, what other attractions does Roy Rogers have?
Well, he has one man, Montana Max.
Montana Max, huh? Cowboy?
He jumps from a horse onto a steer.
Watch that ad-libbing. I mean, don't throw me. Don't throw the script away, you know.
He jumps from a horse onto a steer's back.
Yeah.
Then he wrestles the steer all over the ground until he throws it.
Gosh.
Montana Max couldn't appear, though.
No.
He had 4 ribs broken.
Oh, throwing the steer?
No, going up to the polo grounds in the subway.
Well, that'll do. See, just imagine old Roy Rogers with his own circus. You know, I used to know him when it was Rogers and Hammerstein, way back. What else is new, Portland?
An archaeologist says that 18 centuries before Columbus discovered America, the Phoenicians were here.
Oh, that's ridiculous. What makes you think the Phoenicians were in this country?
If they weren't here, who made all those Phoenician blinds?
I enjoyed that. I'll just take time out now while I revel in that one. Well, tell me, what do you... While you're giving that joke back to Kenny's friend, the epitaph writer, I've heard about him. He won't say anything good about you unless you're lying down. He's a real old... I think I'll start for Allen's Alley, Portland.
What is your question tonight?
Well, recently a food authority reported that American cooking was becoming increasingly popular in other parts of the world. And so our question is, do you think American cooking is the best in the world?
Shall we go?
As Johnny said on the Philip Morris program, I think it's time to make my call. It's sure good to be back in Allen's Alley, Portland. Say, I guess the senator's home all right. Look, his mule has his shoes off. He's relaxing in the hammock. Can't tell the mule from the senator, except the senator doesn't wear harness. Well, let's knock.
I see somebody prodded my panel.
Well, yes.
Claghorn's the name. Senator Claghorn, that is.
Why, you been away, Senator?
I was up in Canada with little old Harriet.
Yeah?
Son, I never seen such a welcome. As we crossed into Canada and they fired that 21-gun salute, tears come to my eyes.
Tears?
All that shooting reminded me of my wedding day.
What did you do? What did you do in Canada, Senator?
I went up to that city that was founded by a Southerner.
A city in Canada founded by a Southerner?
Montreal. I seen some of them Northwest Mounted Police.
Yeah?
I sent regards to Nelson Eddy.
Yeah. He'll be glad to hear from you. You must have had some trips.
Yeah, well, Canada's the farthest on-south I've ever been.
Oh, really?
It sure opened my eyes.
Canada did?
I thought animals was running the country. They got people up there.
Oh. Well, this will be news to a lot of folks. Tell me, Senator, what is your reaction to American cooking?
Well, son, the South used to have the best cooking in the world.
Used to have?
Since 1929, we in the South ain't been able to cook.
Well, what happened in 1929?
Well, Herbert Hoover said, I'll put a chicken in every pot.
And since 1929, nobody in the South has had any chickens?
Son, since 1929, nobody in the South has had a pot.
Well, so on. Well, I guess the senator was trying to pull my leghorn. Well, let's see how Mr. Moody reacts.
Howdy, Bob.
Well, Mr. Moody, how do you feel about American cooking?
Why, if it wasn't for cooking, I'd be a single man today.
Oh, really? What happened?
Well, when I was young and full of blare and gobble...
Yeah?
Why, I owned the only beaded pocketbook in Hoosick Falls.
The only beaded pocketbook, huh?
Yeah. Girls was always inviting me to parties.
Well, why?
Why, when we'd play post office, a girl would call my number.
Yeah?
I'd go out into the dark hall.
Uh-huh.
She'd ask me to light a match and show her my beaded pocketbook.
Oh, I see. Didn't you like any of the girls?
Well, one was a looker.
Yeah?
Her name was Serena.
Uh-huh.
She was slung together mighty nice.
Yeah?
I says, you for me, sister.
Don't give way, Mr. Moody.
Well, sir, after we'd been keeping company for about 9 years, one night Serena says, Titus, you can lean your head back on my antimacassar anytime.
Serena was getting serious, eh? Well, what were your intentions?
My intentions was honorable, but remote.
Oh, Fine.
Next night, Serena, she says, surprise, Titus.
Yeah?
I cooked you up a bean tansy.
A bean tansy,
Yeah, it was the first pudding Serena ever cooked.
I see.
Well, I ate the bean tansy and drunk 2 crocks of crab-apple cider.
Yeah?
Next thing I know, pain started shooting through my innards.
Yeah?
I doubled up and slipped out of my chair.
Well, how did you get married?
Why, I was kneeling on the floor.
Yes?
Serena thought I was proposing.
Proposing?
I let out a moan. Serena says, I do.
Well, tell me, how is Serena's cooking today?
Since that bean tansy, Serena's only cooked one thing.
One thing?
Yeah, my goose. So long, Bob.
Well, let's try this next door.
How to do this?
Ah, Mrs. Nussbaum. Say, that is a mighty pretty gown you have on there.
Oh, thank you. It's mine cocktail dress.
Oh, cocktail dress?
On the sleeves, you can see the olive stain.
Oh, I see. Well, I didn't know you went to cocktail parties.
We are only living once, Nussbaum.
Oh, that's
Well, why not enjoying? C'est la vie.
C'est la vie.
Life is only a deep breath. You are exhaling, it is gone.
How true. Well, Mrs. Nussbaum, how do you feel about American cooking?
You could eat invite any other nationality cooking.
Uh-huh.
Ultimately, with something American, you are finishing the meal.
Finishing the meal? Well, how do you mean?
Well, you are eating Italian, veal scallopinkas.
Veal scallopinkas? Yes.
You are eating Chinese, egg fouillanco.
Egg fouillanco.
Or you're eating Mexican enchiladas.
Uh-huh.
You are eating a French crêpe la Suzette.
Crêpe la Suzette. No matter what country's food you eat.
Always you are concluding the meal with something American.
And the something American is?
Alka-Seltzer. Thank you.
That brings us to the little shamrock-covered shanty at the end of the alley. Well, let's arouse Mr. Cassidy.
Who's Mr. on the platform?
How do you do? Well, Mr. Cassidy, how are you tonight?
Oh, terrible. Oh, my right leg is so heavy I can't lift it up.
Your right leg is heavy?
Oh, it's full of iron, pig iron.
Oh, that's silly, Ajax. How can your system get full of pig iron?
We've been eating pork chops.
Oh, Ajax, like the Pepsodent Summer Show, you are hopeless.
I'm not long for this porridge.
Well, tell me, Mr. Cassidy, how do you feel about American cooking?
American cooking, says you. The only Native American food is the hot dog, the hamburger, the Eskimo pie, and the popsicle.
Well, I know that.
The great American stomach is becoming nothing but a repository for Howard Johnson. Me boy, the hot dog and the hamburger made me what I am today.
And what are you today?
A vegetarian.
A vegetarian?
Oh, the Irish are all vegetarians.
You mean they have no meat?
The only states we have in Ireland are the sweet states.
But,
the poor man's favorite food is the potato. Ah, the Irish avocado.
Yeah. And you say that you are a vegetarian?
I'm a true vegetarian, me boy.
What is that?
Well, now, a true vegetarian is a man who will order a beautiful boiled salmon just to get the little sprig of parsley on the salmon's stomach.
And you are a true vegetarian?
Oh, to me sorrow. I carried me vegetarian tendencies too far.
How?
I married an old tomato. Good boy.
Aided by Al Goodman and his employees, the DeMarco sing, I do like you. Girls?
I don't like men. Women I don't like to. Do I like anyone? I don't, but I do like you. Do. I don't like milk. Spinach I don't like to. I don't like anything that's good for me, but I do like you. Am I mad? intentional. Do I care? No. If you think I am strange, it is intentional. I don't like men. Women I don't like too. I think that I don't even like myself. Maybe silly, but it's true. Baby, you're the one exception. I do like you. I don't like men. Women, I don't like to. I think that I don't even like myself. It's silly, but it's true. Baby, you're the one exception. After all is said and done, I do like you. You're the one.
Now to remind you about an important topic.
One topic that never loses its fascination is good food and how to enjoy it. This is pleasant news for all you women who've been saying food bills are so high, or I do wish things would come down. Shepherd cheese has come down from 17 to 24 cents a pound. Yes, you get more for your money now when you say Shepherd. S-H-E-F-F-O-R-D, Shepherd for fine cheese. Shepherd has made it possible for you to save money on that fine bodybuilding protein food, cheese. That's certainly satisfying news to all you people who are turning to Shepherd cheese for quality, for flavor, for really fine eating. And just remember this new reason to look for Shepherd when you shop for cheese to melt or spread or slice. So here it is. Prices on Shepherd cheese are lower. You save from 17 to 24 cents on every pound. So stock up on Shepherd cheese in half-pound or 2-pound packages and on Shepherd cream spreads in glass. Remember, you save money every time you say Shepherd. S-H-E-F-F-O-R-D. Shepherd for fine cheese.
Since Maestro Goodman started playing these abbreviated numbers, all of his fan mail arrives written in shorthand. And now, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Portland?
This mail just came.
Fan mail coming in as we're acting here, going along? Well, what is it?
This first postcard says, Mr. and Mrs. Gowenthal of Far Rockaway are celebrating their golden wedding at Patty's Clam House.
Yeah.
Please play the anniversary song.
Well, wait a minute. We don't play requests on this program, Portland. Send that over to Jack Eigen at the Copacabana. Tell me, what are those other postcards you have there?
They're vacation cards from Jack Benny, Bob Hope, and Red Skelton.
Gosh, do I envy those fellows, those chaps, Portland. Benny, Skelton, and Bob Hope, all away enjoying their vacation.
Are you going away this year?
Not me. I learned my lesson last summer.
What happened?
Well, last June, I saw an ad in the newspaper. Quiet, restful room in lovely suburban home. Will rent for 1 month, $50. Right, Mr. Oswald Nelson, 1847 Rogers Road. Well, the ad read wonderful. So I wrote to Mr. Nelson, and 2 days later, I started out for 1847 Rogers Road.
Yes, Harriet?
Ozzie, the postman just left this letter for you.
Oh, for me? Who's it from?
Well, the return address says F. Allen, NBC, until July 1st. After that, make me an offer.
NBC. Who do I know at the National Biscuit Company? Dear Mr. Nelson, arriving Monday afternoon. Harriet, it worked!
Ozzie, what are you
Darling, what is it you've been dreaming about? What is it you've wanted more than anything else?
Fingernail polish that'll stay on.
No. I mean the trail Mr. Thornberry's been trying to sell us for $50.
Ozzie,
Now we can take that camping trip we planned at Lake Tehachapuku.
I don't get it.
Well, it's simple economics. We need $50. David and Ricky are away at camp. Their room is empty. I put an ad in the paper. A Mr. F. Allen wants to rent a room. When we get Mr. F. Allen's $50, the trailer is ours, and it's Lake Tehachapuku. Here we come.
Ozzie, you're mad. Bringing a complete stranger into our home? A man from NBC yet.
I thought... But, Harriet, $50.
Ozzie Nelson, you are not turning our home into a motel.
Oh, Harriet, forget the commercial side of it. Think of the humanitarian side. The housing shortage. This poor, decrepit old man holding his feeble hands out to us for a haven. Harriet, we can't deny it.
Well, Ozzie, for a whole month.
Chin up, Harriet. We'll get the trailer. This must be Mr. Allen now.
Well, before you open the door, Ozzie, let me peek at him through the window.
Well? What happened here? You're trembling.
Ozzie, he like the ghost of John Carradine.
Coming.
Pardon me, is Mr. Oswald Nelson in?
Yes, I'm Mr. Nelson. You must be Mr. F. Allen.
Fred Allen. You received my letter?
Yes. Won't you come in, please?
Thank you. Oh, this is what I like. This house has such a home-like atmosphere for a motel.
Motel? I beg your pardon.
Harriet, this is my wife, Mr. Allen, Harriet. I mean, this is my Harriet, Mr. Allen.
Well, how do you do, all of you? How do you do? And now, folks, before I make any decision, may I see the room you advertised?
Oh, you'll love it, Mr. Allen.
Yes.
It's large and roomy.
Ozzie, I still don't like the
Harriet,
idea.
please.
But, Ozzie, a man from NBC in our children's room.
Mr. Allen, excuse me. I want to talk to my wife.
Oh, surely. What a lovely conch shell you have here on the highball.
Darling, after all, remember the trailer. Second honeymoon at Lake Tehachapuku.
Oh, well, okay. Ozzie, why don't you show Mr. Allen the room?
Oh, good girl, I will. This way, Mr. Allen.
Oh, thank you.
You can bring the conch shell with you, I see.
Thank you. I'm listening to the ocean.
Right in here.
Small noise. The Dead Sea, I think, was at this. This is the room?
Yes. Be careful of those rollers.
Yes.
Just climb over that bicycle.
Yes.
I'll have those turtles taken out of the bathtub, of course, and that bubble gum will all be scraped off the pillows, and the tom-toms will be taken off the bed.
My, this room looks so restful, Mr. Nelson. I'll take it. This is just the place to soothe my jangled nerves.
Yes, you do look jumpy.
Yes.
Do you always shake like that?
Yes, I'm on the radio.
Oh?
I have my own program every Sunday night.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Funny.
Mm-hmm.
We tune in every Sunday night.
Yes.
Said your name is Felix Alfred?
No, it's Allen.
Felix
Fred.
Allen.
No, not Felix. Fred Allen.
Fred Allen.
Fred Allen. Uh-huh.
Sunday, first we listen to Jack Benny.
Yes.
Then Phil Harris.
Yes.
Then Charlie McCarthy.
And then
we have dinner. And after dinner, we listen to the Manhattan Merry-Go-Round.
Oh, you do? Mr. Nelson, some night during dinner, if you leave your radio on loud enough and you're not eating celery, you may hear my program.
Oh, well, I doubt it. We have celery every Sunday. But you look rather tired.
So Mr. Nelson, one thing before you go.
Yes, Mr. Allen.
Do you rent this room American plan?
American plan? Sir, I'll have you know everything in this house is American. During the war, I was an air raid warden. I buy a bond a week. I have a picture of President Truman on our piano. Our flag is out every holiday.
Then the room is?
It certainly is American plan.
Well, fine. Here's the $50 for my month's rent.
Thank you. Well, here's the key. For the back door, you can let yourself in.
I'll be very careful. Thank you.
Harriet.
Yes, is everything all set up?
Yes, it is. You know, for a second, I felt like throwing this $50 in Mr. Allen's face. He had the nerve to ask me if his room was American plan, questioning my patriotism, me, an Eagle
Well,
Scout.
dear, American plan. American plan means we have to give him his meals with the room. Ozzie, you didn't.
Harriet, I did.
Oh, 3 meals a day, and the price of meat going up every minute.
Oh, but after all, how much can he eat? He's in radio. He must have an ulcer. You'll see. Wait till he comes down to breakfast tomorrow.
Yeah, he does have that mush and hot milk look.
And maybe he doesn't eat at all. Like the camels who consume their humps. He can probably live a week on one of those bags under his eyes. Darling, I'm taking this $50 next door to pay Thornberry for that trailer. Lake Tehachapuku, here we come.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning, Mr. Allen.
Oh, up early, aren't you, Mr. Allen?
Yes, I didn't want to miss breakfast.
Oh, fine. Just sit right down here. Harriet and I are just splitting an orange. Split that orange 3 ways, Harriet.
No orange for me, thank you. Doctor's order.
Well, what will you have, Mr. Allen?
Well, for breakfast, I generally have just a glass of lukewarm water, and I nibble down to the first knuckle on a lady finger, as a rule.
So Harriet?
But since I'm on my vacation and living American plan, I'll have a double order of Wheaties, 6 poached eggs, a thick slab of fried ham, 2 coffee rings, and 3 dozen donuts.
Well, Mr. Allen, isn't all that food going to be a bit of a shock for your stomach?
You're right. I'll cushion the blow with a bowl of strawberries and extra heavy cream.
Is that all?
Yes. I think that will hold me, providing I have a substantial lunch later.
Mr. Allen, excuse me for asking, but do you eat this way at home?
Well, frankly, no. I can't afford it. And now, shall we start breakfast?
Forget my half of the orange, Harriet. I'll just take half an aspirin.
I'll take the other half. Ozzie, look at these grocery bills. Donuts, $42, and it's only Thursday.
$42. That's a lot of donuts.
Yeah. Everyone has been eaten by this boarder of yours, Alan, son of Flicka.
If only he wouldn't take those long walks between meals to work up an appetite.
Now when he goes on those walks, he takes donuts with him.
Last night, watching him eat that double filet mignon with the donuts on top, I got so nervous I choked on my crust of bread.
We've got to get rid of him. Give him his money back.
But, Harriet, I haven't got the $50. I paid Thornberry for the trailer.
Ozzie, Alan has got to go. He came here for a rest. Well, from tonight on, he's not going to sleep a wink.
That's an idea. I'll go up to the attic and pound on the ceiling of his room all night with a broom handle. Has he gone to bed yet?
I think so. I just heard the icebox door close.
Quick, Harriet, the broom.
Ozzie, you look awful.
I haven't slept for 2 nights. Oh, if we could only get rid of Alan.
All he does is eat and sleep.
Thursday night, I pounded with that broom all night.
He came down in the morning and said there was a woodpecker on the roof calling his mate.
Friday night, I stood in front of his door for 8 straight hours playing my saxophone.
Every neighbor on the block called the police.
And Alan, he'd just wake up long enough to yell out a request number and then doze off again.
Ozzie, I refuse to spend another day in the kitchen cooking. I got dishpan hands clear up to my elbows.
Oh, please, Harriet, it's only 3 more weeks.
I don't care if it's only 3 more minutes. Alan goes today. The method is up to you, and remember, a wife can't testify against her husband.
I hear footsteps.
Oh, good morning, folks. Gad, what a day. The usual breakfast, Harriet. 8 poached eggs and 3 dozen donuts.
Ozzie, this is the last straw. Remember what I said. Today.
But, Harriet,
you young married people with your little love spat.
Mr. Allen, frankly, things have reached a crisis.
Now, when Harriet comes back, Oswald, just kiss her. Ask her to forgive you.
No, I mean about your staying here.
Well, I'm having a wonderful time. Gad, I can't understand it. I've gained 70 pounds.
No, it's the kids. You see, Dave and Ricky. You see, they're coming back from camp unexpectedly. Yes, that's it. And they'll need their room, so you'll have to go.
Now, wait a minute, Nelson. Just a minute. I paid you for 4 weeks American plan, $50.
I know, but Mr. Allen...
However, I happen to be a reasonable man. If I'm not wanted here...
Mr. Allen, you mean you'll go?
I will go, but I will expect to be reimbursed. My railroad fare here, the cost of my vacation at some swanky resort for the next 3 weeks. I want money for 3 dozen donuts on my trip, and Mr. Nelson, I'll take the cash right now.
Cash. Where can I get the cash? Harriet, he's gone. Mr. Allen's gone.
Oh, Ozzie, quick, let's pack.
Pack?
Sure, hook the trailer on our car. Wake the Hatchapuku, here we come.
Harriet, about the trailer.
Ozzie, we do have a trailer.
Yes, Harriet, we do have the trailer, but...
But what?
Well, to get the money to get Alan out of the house, I had to sell the car.
Ozzie!
Lake the Hatchapuku, here we stay.
Before I remind you, remember Tenderly Teen Seven Tuesday shopping days next week. Making farewell radio experience of the season, Dr. Rockwell. Thank you and good night. Thank you. Good night.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.